You know, the only guy in the world that has been officially dubbed Philly's bad guy. Philly's bad guy. By the way, Britton Covey, I appreciate you more than you know for liking my tweet towards you making a 53-man roster and following me on Twitter and watching the show. We thank you so much. Everybody that's in here, we appreciate it. By the way, we got to start out by doing this. Big sales and our friends at BetUS, 4 hours here of the National Football Show with big sales is powered by our friends at BetUS. Absolutely. By the way, you know what's really remarkable? When you post a congratulatory comment like that towards Britton Covey for making a 53-man roster, automatically, how come you didn't? How come you didn't congratulate Johnny Wilson, you racist? And I'm going like, because Covey follows me, and me and him know Kyle Whittingham. He played for Kyle Whittingham, and we talk to one another back and forth. I don't have a relationship with Johnny Wilson. And the most important thing, he's a fucking Knoll. I'm not friends with Knowles. Sorry. He's a Knoll. So, whatever. Hit the like button. We appreciate y'all coming aboard here, man. Already, devastating news to the Philadelphia Eagles. Devastating news, at least financially. James Bradberry out 6 to 8 weeks, and you get to elevate the greatness of Orenthal Burks from the practice squad to the active roster. Wow. Woo, what a move. Hey, Orenthal Burks is now part of the active roster because, you know, as Zander dubbed it, the no holes defense. You know, you heard of the no-name defense? See, here at JAKIB, Zander has dubbed the Eagle defense the no-holes defense. So get ready for Green Bay in just a little bit over a week. Week from Friday, Packers, Eagles, Sao Paulo, Brazil. Oh, yeah. Hey, financially, what a disaster. What a disaster. I know. Orenthal Burks to the rescue. Hey, as Johnny McMullen would say, we have depth at linebacker now. We have depth in the secondary. Okay? Hey, we have depth. Well, at least they're guys. I get it. I mean, you know, you do have bodies there. I mean, 28 guys on defense as of today, at least, until we find out next Tuesday when the roster's set for the Green Bay game. How you doing? Holy cow. 6 to 8. James Bradberry is out, and you're paying the guy $11 million. Gotta love it. Big Marshall. Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean, safety. How you doing? Yeah, that guy looked good in this game against the fourth-team Minnesota Viking guys. He looked great. I saw a turnstile at Grand Central, you know? That turns just like Cooper DeJean did. Sills the Bradberry deal could not get any worse. Absolutely, Andre. This is a shit show with this thing. Get this. This guy says that Bradberry's irrelevant. $11 million is not irrelevant. You didn't cut him. You could have saved yourself $7 million. Instead, Howie was greedy with the cap. For him, the cap hit is more important than Jeffrey Lurie actually paying the guy $11 million. Then you're going to play him at safety, which he can't pay. And he can't play that position. Wait, he can't play safety. You're paying him $11, and now he's out 2 months. Okay. Hey, Grand Slam, Howie. General Manager of the Year. There you go. Let's be honest, Strawberry wasn't doing anything. How you doing? Hey, what a shitty deal. Holy cow, that Bradberry deal cannot get any worse. And you elevate Orenthal Burks. Get this. Charlie says he's irrelevant. So hey, Charlie, look at how dumb that comment by Charlie is. So you gave a roster seat and a roster position away to an irrelevant player. Is that right? So are you putting the best players on the team or not? Hey, Charlie, so you're saying Bradberry's irrelevant being part of the 53-man roster. So you gave a chair away and a seat away where you could have had a younger player or whomever that could have contributed to the team more. That's what you're saying? Howie hands out roster spots? He sure does. You know why? Howie didn't want to be made to look like a dick off that deal he signed Bradberry to. This is always about how he's looked at. Turns out the Bradberry deal now was a shitty deal. How come no one in the media fucking says that or asks him? Howie, if you had to redo the Bradberry deal over, how about a question like this to Howie one day? How about a question like this from our Philadelphia media? Howie, if you had to do the Bradberry deal all over again, would you do it? Well, that's hindsight. No shit. Would you do it? You never get questions like that. Be like some softball liberal interview that you're going to hear soon. Are you crazy? Ask the freaking question. Would you at least cut him now? Or would you have cut him this past April? Nobody pressed the guy for a guy on the football team that's the third highest paid player on defense. Get this. Gary says this is a stupid question. Do you regret giving him the contract or do you regret not cutting him in April? He says it's a stupid question. You know why? Because he doesn't want to hear the answer. Hey, Sills, guess whose birthday it is today? No idea. No idea. Dude, absolutely, Sam. That's why some of those guys are on that roster is because Howie doesn't like to be made to look bad. Get this. How on earth will we replace Bradberry? Dude, get this. You're totally missing the point. Why is he on the fucking team in the first place? You gave a roster spot and you have to make roster moves. Why didn't you go out in the offseason and get a better safety? If you were looking for a safety, how about go get a real safety? Why keep a guy who's a corner? Unless you don't believe Quinyon Williams is ready yet. Hey, Quinyon Mitchell's got to play corner now. Okay? Michael Irvin's birthday today? Make sure thank you for telling me. Thank you very much, Emmett. Get this. Here's the Bradberry deal. So you gave away a roster spot, which is the most important, to a player who can't play safety. Why didn't you sign a safety? Why didn't you sign a guy? Secondly, you're paying him $11 million. And you could have cut him. No, Howie doesn't want to take Howie would rather keep the $4 million cap non-hit to the salary cap and pay the guy 11 and have him as a backup. Dude, get this. Let's see. Huff and CJ and Slay. No, he makes more than Slay. No, Bradberry makes more than Slay. Bradberry's the third highest paid defensive football player. Here's your three highest paid defensive football players. An unknown Huff, an old man in Slay, and an injured Gardner Johnson. And then Bradberry. Look at who your top four players are paid on offense. Hurts, AJ, Devontae, Lane. Do you think there's a difference in talent? Look at remember when we say you're top heavy? Waiting on Sidney Brown, he won't be ready until 25. He's coming off a knee injury. Thank you, Emmanuel. Appreciate it. Okay? He's coming off a knee injury. Holy cow. Here's your highest paid defensive players. Think about it. Huff, Slay, Bradberry, and Gardner Johnson. Your offensive guys, Hurts, AJ, Devontae, and Lane. That's all you need to know about your roster. Okay? That's all you need to know about your roster. RC3, the greatest no-name defense in the history of the National Football League will be the 2024 Philadelphia Eagles. As Zander calls it, the no-holds defense. Like it. Get a hat and T-shirt made of that one. Especially when Green Bay drops 38 on you. You better hope they don't drop 45 on your ass. Hey, the no-holds defense going to give, if that no-holds defense in week 1 gives up 40, it gives up a 40 burger, we're going to have a problem here. You better hope you don't give up a 40 burger to Jordan Love and that team. How he fucked up. Didn't sign CJ, but Bradberry instead. So to avoid admission to bad choice, he's trying to cover it up. That's the real. Bradberry shouldn't even be on this team. Absolutely, my friend. Thank you, Big Marshall. Appreciate it, brother. You better hope Green Bay don't drop a 40 burger on you. How you doing? Oh, man. Hey, get this. In other news, Brazil is experiencing widespread fires. Hey, did you hear Devontae Smith about Brazil today? We're going to get to that in a minute. Let me move on. Did you see Devontae Smith talking about Brazil today? Holy shit, funny. We're going to get to the players. Hey, AJ talked. Britton Covey talked. Devontae Smith. I saw it also. We're going to talk about what Fred Johnson has done and how Jeff Stoutland has saved his career, which is so freaking cool. So freaking cool. You know, I really liked listening to AJ today. I did. So we're going to talk about that here in a second. We got a bunch of topics here. By the way, Zander at 3:30. Mark Farzetta will join us at 5:30 Eastern time. So please hit the like button here, guys. We so appreciate you coming aboard. I know you have so many other choices. And many of you, like LJ, come here each and every single day and post over 70 posts each and every single day. Prince helps us out a lot. Twiz, all of you. Andreas, thank you. I can't thank you guys enough for coming here each and every single day in support of Big Sills. Thank you very much. Look at this even. Here is post number 16 already. Early part of the show. We're only 17 minutes into the show. And LJ's keeping up with a post every minute. You can't get anything better than that. No other show gives you that interaction but right here on the National Football Show. You will get a post from a guy like LJ every freaking minute of every freaking hour because LJ helps the algorithm every day. Couldn't do it without your post of 780,000 in one season. You too, Twiz. How you doing? Fly, Eagle, fly, baby. We're all jacked up here. All right. We may have to bring things down to earth here now. we're going to start simple. We're going to start simple. Okay, hold on. This is what I love. Okay? Zander, this has been the mantra of my career by Dan. Dan and I don't see eye to eye like LJ and many of you. What's his name says, I'm over caffeinated. Tony, I'm Italian. And if you got a vowel at the end of your name, whether you're a Mexican, you're Puerto Rican, or you're Italian, you should know this by now. What is wrong with you? What are you talking about, Tony? Ultra Cowboy goes, Dan, is comedy. No, your front seven in Dallas is comedy. You guys want to know what comedy is? Watch that Cowboy front seven this year. I'll show you comedy. Hold on here. I was a hater, and you turned me into a fan. Got to admit it. Dan, that is a comment right there that doesn't mean Dan's going to agree with me. You understand that? That's not a comment where he says, hey, dude, you got me. Your takes are going to be law with me. On the contrary. Okay? On the contrary. Ultra Cowboy. The Eagles secondary's comedy. Yeah. Maybe. Let's start off very simple for guys like my friend LJ so he can comprehend it. Because, sometimes when you string like a take together, you kind of get upset with Big Sills, the national villain show of the year. So sometimes you guys get a little upset. I'm going to bury the lead on this question. Look at this guy. Oh, this can't. Where is that? Here we go. We hate you, but we love you. Oh. Jonathan, that's what my wife does. My wife. I've never met a person in my life I hated more than my wife. I've never met a person more in my life that I loved. Okay? That's marriage. Welcome to the group. Oh, man. Born and raised in Dallas, Oak Cliff. That's where my wife lived. The Cowboy fans aren't yapping out loud like they are in the comments. Hey, Vuna, that team's got that roster. That's the worst roster Dak has played with. Michael Jackson's birthday? Great. And I liked him with the Jackson 5 when I was a kid. Other than that, and you would never catch me anywhere near Neverland. You might catch LJ near Neverland, but you wouldn't catch me near Neverland. How you doing? Yeah. Hey, by the way, I heard that LJ's the caretaker at Neverland. Right? Sills, you got to chill. I ain't chilling nothing, man. You don't come here for chilling. As a matter of fact, hold on. Let me get my rum and coke going here. Woo! You got to get ready for Zander at 3:30 because he's got some messed up list here about overrated players like Jalen Hurts. I hope that he puts that at the top of the list, that he's an overrated guy. All right, let's go to the topics here. We're not going to say, boy, I got to tell you too, listen to Devontae and AJ. He makes all of you, no, not all, some of you look stupid. Some of you look stupid in how Zander thinks it's a 15-win team. Boy, I'll tell you what, you listen to AJ and Devontae today, they are right down the Big Sills lane. Right there in the center pin, baby. You got to put that little spin on that Voigt bowling ball, turns right in. Then pins just start flying. If you want to play duck pins, that's fine. Or you want to play bocce ball, we're good. anything you want. People around the country don't know what duck pins and dubacci is. Okay. That's a Northeast Italian deal. 13-4. There you go, baby. Get them expectations up. Fitting because Bradberry is a smooth criminal. Yeah, man. Hey, St. Laurent, let me say this to you. He didn't use a gun, did he, when he robbed the Eagles? This guy robbed the Eagles this year in 2024. This guy gets his paycheck like this. Hey, how about this? This guy gets his paycheck, James Bradberry, like this now. He's got his head down. How you doing? MVP? Absolutely not. Here we go. You think this roster is better than last year's roster? Think 2023 is better than last year's roster? Do you? Abe, where are you better? Where are you better than last year? All you guys are saying yes. Where are you better? Experience-wise, you have no experience on defense. Not true. Experience? You're better at running back? That's yet to be determined. He wasn't more productive last year than DeAndre Swift. Get this. DeAndre Swift was more productive last year than Barkley. He was healthier. So when you say that, he's not coming off of a more productive year. Swift was more productive. Wide receiver 3? Maybe. Okay? So you're coaching. Sidelines. Wide receiver 3, running back? I don't believe the running back yet. You're not better at. Where are you better at? Well, CJ, let's give him the benefit. Okay, you're better there. Youth is not better. Okay? Hey, Bob, I'm asking you this year, are you better than last year? Not asking you about 5 years from now. I'm asking you about right now. Get this. This is a projection. Last year, Barkley had 900 yards rushing. And last year, DeAndre Swift had almost 1,100 yards. That's not an accurate statement. You're better at linebacker? Look at this guy. He says you're better at linebacker and corner. You're not better at linebacker. You don't know that. And you're not better at corner. You're not better at corner. Quinyon Mitchell doesn't even start at the corner. You're assuming Isaiah Rodgers is better than Bradberry. You're assuming that, right? Okay. All to be determined. That's a political answer there. That, hey, Emmy, are you running for political office? I like this take. Hey, Sills, can't be worse. Okay. Hey, fair enough. Fair enough on that one. Okay. Eagles defense was getting old. Eventually, you have to replace these guys with young guys. You mean guys that have never played. Okay. It might take time for them to get to where they need to get to and meet their potential. Absolutely. Okay. Losing Kelsey and Fletcher Cox and Hassan Reddick, you're not better. Those are skilled players. You don't have anybody in. Look, I think Cam's going to be good, but he's not the skill set of Kelsey. And get this, Huff is not the same skill set as Reddick. You know why? Reddick has shown he's an NFL consistent pass rusher. That guy hasn't. And Fletcher Cox is one of the greatest defensive tackles and had a really nice ending to a career. You know how many players have 60 tackles and 6.5 sacks and call it a career? Like none. That guy still had 2 years of ball to play. Fletcher Cox could have played 2 more years. Maybe 1 at that level. He's a good freaking ball player, man. We overall have gotten better coaching-wise. With the addition of Vic, Clint, get this. That's not what Devontae and AJ said today. And Christian and Kellen. That's not what your star players said today. They didn't say that. They've gotten better coaching-wise. Wait till we listen to the transcript or we go through the transcript of what they said about their offense out of their own mouth. You know what's really great and what I love is that at the press conference today, the media was more excited about the offensive talent. And the players were downplaying it. They were downplaying it. It was like the media people have hyped you up thinking you're going to have a fourth. That's not how I got it from AJ and Devontae today. I thought they were brilliant, great. I thought they sounded like great teammates. The whole thing was spectacular. Coming from a guy that glorified Kansas City for getting younger. Kansas City sacrificed losses early on 2 years ago. They sacrificed it. They sacrificed it, Big Marshall. They didn't care if they won 10 or 11 games. Do you foresee our defense being bad, being dead last again, since all Vic can do is move your needle with his mouth? So how is he going to make them better? He's going to make them better by putting them in better positions to succeed. Like I said this yesterday, 34, you got to play Nolan Smith on third down only. Don't put him out there first and second down. He's not a first and second. He's not a 3-down guy yet. He's just not a 3-down guy. Okay? He's not. Put him in a position to succeed. Maybe Eagles don't believe in defense because their new NFL changes. Hey, Black Leo, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. But a lot of the teams that made the Final Four had pretty good defensive football teams. Niners, Lions, Ravens, Chiefs. Pretty good defenses, don't you think? Pretty good linebacker play too, actually. Get this here. I brought this up yesterday. Just rotate Nolan Smith. James, let me ask you this. If that guy got you, say you played him like Huff was played in New York. James, this goes directly to you. Say you gave him 460 snaps this year. Played him on third down, right? And he got you 10 sacks because you put him in a position to be a specialist in pass rushing. Would you be okay with the 30th pick then? I would. But if you put him out there trying to make him a 3-down guy and he has 1 sack or 2 sacks and he's constantly in and out of the lineup because of injuries, you ran the player off the roster, not using him correctly. Okay? Smith is still better than Huff against the run. They both stink. And they've both never done it. How can you say that Huff and Smith, as much as John McMullen talks about his success rate, the quarterback, you should ask John this question. What about his tackle rate and his cover rate? He was ranked last. Ask that rate. Here's another player that's not a 3-down guy. Hey, you could be a great pass rusher, but you're one-dimensional again. You're back to the same shit you were with Reddick. I mean, Nolan is a bust. He looks terrible. Charlie, that's why I'm saying you got to figure out how to get him in a position to succeed. Let me ask you something, too. Before we move on here's my overall thought. I think there's more question marks this year than there were a year ago. You won 11 games last year. You were 8th in the offense across the board. You got a home playoff game a year ago, and that was with coordinators you guys say sucked. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, if that's the floor, let's see them do it again. 11 more wins, higher ranked offense, and raising the defense and pass coverage from 31st to 15th? Okay. And finding new leaders on your football team. So let me ask you this. Before we move on, remember I told you that I said that Jalen Hurts was the most overrated player in pro football. That's my list. And players said Josh Allen. Let me ask you this. Who was the number one player voted on by NFL.com and the players? Who was the number one player? Do you guys remember? You guys remember who the number one player was? According to the NFL.com, who was the number one player voted on this year by NFL.com and all the players? Do you remember who it was? There you go. It was Tyreek Hill, right? Tyreek Hill was voted as the number one football player in the NFL. Keto. There you go, Frank. Ray, thank you. Well, let me ask you this. How in the world can the Kansas City Chiefs have gotten better the last 2 years by trading the best player in the NFL away? So the Chiefs traded the best player in the NFL away? That's got to be some sort of world record. So when you look at lists, be careful what you're saying. I mean, they traded the best player in the league away? Still, Vic is contradicting himself. How is his scheme going to put them in situations to succeed when he doesn't have the talent and they've gotten even worse? We'll talk more about that. Wait a minute. What am I full of shit about? This guy, get this. This guy's just said I'm full of shit when the Chiefs had just won 2 Super Bowls in a row without Hill. They traded the best player in the league away, according to the list. How can that be possible? Do you think Jalen Hurts could survive trading the best player on his team away? How in the world did the Chiefs get better by trading the best player in the NFL in the world away? How? And they're going for a three-peat. Sills, it's hard to find edge rushers that can cover. How are we supposed to find edge rushers that go with this scheme? Crosby, Watt, all don't cover. You know what they all have? What's Crosby have? He has a shitty team. He doesn't have to cover. Okay? Bosa doesn't have to cover. Why? Well, you got Dre Greenlaw and you got Fred Warner in there. Oh, okay. I got you, man. Thank you. Get this. Look at this. NFL is handing Chiefs a Super Bowl because Kansas City focuses on defense. Kansas City focuses on defense because you know why? They don't have to pay anybody on offense. Like I said, no matter what you do in Philly or San Francisco, that guy makes it impossible to beat him. You know why? His team will never change. Remember, what's the conversation that you have in Philly and San Fran? Money. There ain't no money conversations going on in Kansas City forever. They don't talk money. Chris Jones and Kelsey, the rest of them, you get what you get. And they get rid of the best player in the league. So how does Kansas City get rid of the best player in the league and the best cornerback, and here they are again, fighting for their 3rd straight Super Bowl? That's pretty remarkable. Our scheme makes it hard to find great pass rushers. Here's the thing in that scheme, in my opinion, Martin, for you to have a good defense, you've got to have guys get great pressure, and you've got to have at least decent linebacker play. Week 1, 2003 season, Chargers versus Miami shows Kellen Moore offense versus Vic's too high safety was awful on defense. Kellen's offense torched middle of the field. Hey, well, I wouldn't call that, Abe, like a really good go-to. Brian Johnson crushed Vic too last year. That game with Miami was never close. And by the way, people go, well, Miami was injured. Well, you're inexperienced. Injury, inexperience. I thought there were no excuses. No matter how bad the roster is, Vic's going to work his magic. I mean, they got crushed by the Eagles, and they got crushed by Brian Johnson's offense. Brett Veach, Andy, Steve Spagnuolo, Mahomes, and the culture's the key. Here, watch this. Where'd you say that? There it is. There it is. Nick Caserio, Bill Belichick, and Brady. No coincidence. When you have all those dynamics. Take a look at this, my friend. Howie Roseman. You got Nick. You got Vic. And you got Hurts. You don't have it all together here. Especially, get this, Brett Veach doesn't pick the roster for Andy. Andy picks the roster with Veach and Steve. In Philly, like we've said, it's a one-man show. It's a one-man show. Completely a one-man show, my friend. Right? One of my favorite guys, Bob. It was addition by subtraction. They moved the focus to the tight end where they had a real advantage attacking the linebackers and spreading the ball around. Absolutely. If you notice one thing about New England and also the same thing about Kansas City, they attack you from the tight end position and the slot. They don't attack you from the numbers. Andy wasn't attacking people from the numbers when he was in Philly. He attacked you from the slot, and he attacked you from tight ends. That's why in Philly, during his reign, the slot receiver always was a guy getting balls thrown to him, and the tight end always had 100 catches. He's moved it to Kansas City. They just got a better signal caller. Nothing's really changed in Andy Reid's approach to the game. Nothing has changed. He doesn't believe in throwing to the numbers. He believes that high percentage plays, going to tight ends and throwing out of the slot, he's going to move the sticks with a high-powered quarterback that he has. He keeps it simple. He doesn't try to complicate his offense like a John Gruden offense. That's why he's successful. He did the same shit in Philly. He did the same stuff in Philly. Sills, they don't need leaders. Remember, they get a pay. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Daniel. You're right. Howie is always going to put a premium on offense because of how little weapons Wentz had in 2020 that led to his demise. It's funny, man. I wrote down a comment about that, about Carson Wentz and about his time in Philly. And it was something that Howie said. And it was, I got to find that. I'll find it. I think it was somewhere in my notes. But no question about it. The inability to get a talent around Wentz, it hampered his career. Jalen, they weren't going to do that and go down that route again. They're going to give him every single bit of success weapons and try to make sure he's as successful as he possibly can. You know, they weren't going to rely on Wentz just to carry the football team that he did. Wentz carried the football team. Jalen's got a ton of talent around him. Okay? Ton of talent. And by the way, that's not a negative. I wish every quarterback had the same affordability that an owner would give so that you could put as much talent around him constructing really great deals. That's one of the great assets of the Eagles. That's not a rip. Hey, you're going to kill a guy for putting great talent around his quarterback? You can't do that. You know how many teams out there are jealous of the Eagles because they do that for their guy now? Well, it's the first time they've ever done it. MG3 goes, Wentz was lousy. Well, he won an MVP award. He's the only quarterback in your history that's thrown for $4,000. And he's the only quarterback that has thrown for 33 touchdowns in a single season. Let's see if Hurts gets to any of those numbers. Okay? Yeah. Well, he won the same MVP award that Jalen Hurts won, the Burt Bell Award, which is considered an MVP award. So he won the same award that Wentz won or Hurts won. Flexen. The Burt Bell Award is considered an MVP award. Okay? It's considered an MVP award. My uncle won it. I'm reaching. Let's take a look at that. I think maybe all the way up until maybe 1984, was it maybe considered? Let me see. Let's see here. Is the Burt Bell Award considered an MVP award? Yes. It's considered an MVP award. How you doing? We move on. Please hit the like button, guys. Thank you very much. Okay. Guys. Let me go here before we go into talking about the players. Actually, I want to go and I want to hit on the players first, and then we'll get to this other topic. Let's go to the players. I want to talk because I want to save that topic. All right. I was listening to some of the players today. Do me a favor, my friends. Please hit the like button. Okay. I was listening to Britton Covey. By the way, I really like Britton Covey. I do. He's cool with the Dotson play. By the way, he plays mostly in the slot. He said one of the things that has changed, you can tell that Jalen and the coaches have more confidence in him just by the way they're talking to him in practice. I loved hearing that. I liked it. He said Devontae and him talk a lot. I didn't realize how close of friends they were. I didn't realize that, how good they were and how close they've become. How about this, too, about Kellen Moore, what he said? Kellen Moore, he teaches you to be smart. Instead of just coming up with smart plays, he teaches you to be smart in game situation. I like it. It's good. I'll tell you something here, man. I love Fred Johnson. I absolutely love Fred Johnson and this guy's story. Boy, do I like him. He said this, man, my biggest issue has been mentality. I want you to hear something. This is more about Stoutland and his style of coaching. How great a coach he is. To hear it from the players talking and not Jordan Mailata or not Lane Johnson, but a player like Fred Johnson. I want to tell you why this is important. Because if you'll coach a guy like Fred Johnson like this, you coached Lane and Mailata like this. This is incredible of a recommendation by Fred Johnson on Jeff Stoutland. And I see why Micaiah Becton wants to play for him. I tell you what, of all the people that spoke today, it was more about Jeff Stoutland and how great a coach he is. What an absolute diamond the Eagles have at that O-line coach. Listen to this shit. He was asked about when Nick, singled him out saying, here's a guy that's just improved. His toughness, everything. He goes, yeah, it got back to me the next day. I had my worst practice possible. And he goes, it comes down to reality real quick in this league. He goes like this. He goes like this. Every single play, I have to be focused. I have to be dialed in on what I'm doing. And here comes the good stuff. He said that Jeff Stoutland is in his face when he's on the scout team. He's in his face coaching him every single day and every single rep and telling him and never letting him quit. And he says these exact words: I will not give up on you. I will not give up on you. And that kid, Fred Johnson, has taken that and basically Jeff Stoutland saved a career. He saved a career. I will not quit on you. He says he coaches him. Remember what I told you? Just with me, Jimmy Johnson screaming in my face, getting in my face about shit. Finally, I just said, and I looked at him, why the fuck are you always on my ass? Worry when I'm not, Dan. Then you got a problem, a real problem, a playing time problem, a roster problem. Okay. He says this, man. He just never quit working with him. 24/7. You got Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson. You had Isaac Seumalo, and you had Jason Kelsey. And he's taking time out of his day to coach dude that was on a practice squad a year ago. The same way he coaches, it just tells you what kind of character he has. Whether you're Lane Johnson or you're Jordan Mailata, Fred Johnson's going to get the same attention and the same coaching and the same details and the same technique training that those guys are getting. He's basically giving you the blueprint to success. I mean, it really, he says his technique is different than other O-line coaches. So you have to be massively focused. It was the most impressive press conference of the preseason so far. Talking about what a coach meant. He goes, man, I was almost out of the league. I didn't want to do it anymore. I'm paraphrasing that. He goes, but Stoutland grabbed me and he saved me. What a fucking great coach. What a great guy to play for. You see why those players love him now. Dude, that is a really great coach. Man, I'm proud to have had him at Miami now. What a great coach. You get the same coaching in the pros. You have to understand something. When you're like 15, 16 and you're a scout team guy, the frontline coaches like OCs and D-line and O-line coaches, they don't pay attention to you. They have like GAs and other guys that are lesser dudes, scout team coaches. They deal with you. You don't get the boss himself coming over going, hey, here's the technique you need to do here, while he's on scout team. Why? While he's on scout team. There's no question why the Eagles have been pretty much the best group the last 10, 15 years, or however long Jeff's been there. That guy's the best coach you've had in the building since Jimmy Johnson, when he was your D coordinator. He's the best coach since Jim Johnson as a position coach. That's an old school, real life coach that you could take Jeff. Here's why I love what I'm hearing with him. He could coach high school kids, and he would do it the same way. He could coach little tiny 8-year-olds all the way up to 20, all the way up to 22-year-olds. He could do all that. It doesn't matter how old you are. It just doesn't. It doesn't matter how old you are here. That's how great a coach he is. Remarkable. Enough with that. I can't get too crazy here, but wow. What a really great coach. Let me get to A.J. Brown. Man, pretty impressive today, all these guys. Steve Spagnuolo has 4 Super Bowl rings. That's awesome, and beat the GOAT. That's why the Chiefs' defense is so great every year. It carried them to a Super Bowl. Carried Eli Manning to that Super Bowl, too. Won that Super Bowl against that undefeated New England Patriots team. Okay? Really, really, I mean, I hope I didn't glaze over Jeff too much, but unbelievable. Here's A.J. Brown now. He loves the Dotson move. And he's loved him from the far. Watch him out as a route runner. Kid that's from PA. He says, you know, he's going to really have a great impact and an opportunity here. You know, I love how they're talking about him too. Devontae and AJ know his role and what his role is going to be. And he says he's going to have mismatches and an opportunity. You know what that was code for? Hey, you want to revitalize your career? You're going to get an opportunity to revitalize your career. And if you want to get out of the 3-hole label you're in now, Eagles are going to give you the best opportunity to do that. I don't know if he does it. But he's going to get that opportunity. Okay? Seals, did Jimmy ever send you to the asthma field? No, I was there for that, though. When he sent that tight end Clemson kid to the asthma, he goes, Coach, I got asthma. I was there for that. The asthma field's over there. It was on the other side of the fence. We're like, oh, good. So Jahan Dotson's going to get a chance to revitalize his career. And Flexen says not sold on Dotson. I'm with you. But Flexen, how about this? Flexen, do you agree? He's going to get an opportunity to change the narrative on his career. Do you agree? He's going to have mismatches. He's going to be in the 3-hole. And he's going to have an opportunity, right? Whether he does it or not, yet to be determined. Can he do it? I don't know. All you want as a player is opportunity. And he's going to get it. Okay? Yeah, he just says it here. He's going to have a great opportunity for him to be able to be that. AJ says, this is so great. I got to say something here. I might have to drop the moniker of AJ Owens because AJ Brown agrees with me and not with you. He was asked the question. I want you guys to listen to this because it's important. Zander, too, all of you, you know all your expectations? Listen to what AJ says. Hey, do you think this offense this year will be different than 23? He goes, time will tell. I don't know. I don't know that yet. This is only practice. I don't know. I have to get out there and see. I have no idea. That's not what the media is reporting. That's not how they're all excited about the offense. That's not what AJ's saying. AJ's in a position like I've been talking to you like. You know what that is? I want to see it. How come when the players talk like I do, you don't get on their shit for it? Get this. Look at here. Are you suggesting that AJ Brown? I shouldn't agree that AJ Brown is agreeing with me? He's agreeing with me. Oh, by the way, senor, that doesn't take the fact that I think he moans and cries. Okay? Listen what else he says about your upcoming season. Do you know it'll work? This new offense with Kellen. Here are his exact words. I don't know. That's camp. I have no idea if it's going to work. I don't know. We have to get everybody in the game. He's even telling you, I think he wanted to get some preseason snaps. He's even telling you, I don't know if it's going to work. Let's get everybody together. If you listen to every media guy in Philadelphia covering that team, that's not how they're talking. Hey, that's not how they're talking. Those are the players' words. How about this one? It does give us versatility having Dotson. And now all of us can play all three different positions. X, Y, Z slot. Okay, I mean, AJ Brown, I don't know if it's going to work. We haven't been in a game yet. That's only camp. No shit. And yet you have guys like ESP and people on our network and people on the radio letting you believe that the Eagles have had a phenomenal camp and that the players like AJ Brown and others are going, I don't know if it's going to work. You know why? They did what they were supposed to do. They were going against an outmatched defense the entire camp. Don't be fooled by this. You got to wait and see come September 6th. That's right. Hey, Maniac, you got to remember something. People in here are not going to like this, that AJ's talking like me here. Let's get to Devontae now. See what he had to say. Here's Devontae. He thinks it's a great addition. Adding Dotson. He's a great addition. Let me get to Devontae, Zander, and we'll do that. He said that the situation's going to determine what type of team and options we have. I don't know how it's going to look. We don't know yet. Get this. I disagree with M. Reyes. I don't think the players know what the capabilities are yet, because how could you? You haven't played. That's what A.J. Brown just said. He was asked, does he think this is a better offense than a year ago? He doesn't know. A.J. had a pretty fucking great year a year ago. And he also says that he's not sure because we haven't played a game yet. How do you know that? I'm echoing what A.J. Brown said. And I'm echoing what Devontae Smith is saying. Here. He says this. The version of the offense that we have right now, I'm not sure what it's going to look like when we get into game situations. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure what the offense is going to look like. I have no idea. These are his words. Imagine that. You got A.J. Brown saying that. That's practice. I don't know what our offense is going to look like. And you got Devontae Smith saying, I don't know what it's going to look like yet. Boy, these guys got more of a tempered mentality about getting ready for a season, and they're level-headed. That's phenomenal. They're not ahead of themselves in any way whatsoever. And by the way, you could tell There's uncertainty in their own minds, not in their abilities, but in the offense. Do you understand what I'm saying? Is A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith talking about their apprehension for their play? No. They're talking about their apprehension for the offense to work. They want to stop expectations? Is that what you're saying? Maybe a little bit, Jason, but I also happen to think it's to pump the brakes until you get to see it work. Guys, please hit the like button. I appreciate that. I really was impressed by A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith talking today. Get this. Here's another Devontae line. Not sure of practice. We'll see if it works. These are both A.J. Brown. Why are you so far ahead of it and you're so sure when the players want to wait and see if it works themselves? Get this. That's not what they're saying. A reporter asked the question, do you think this offense will be better than it was a year ago? I don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see. That's what he said. Devontae, do you think this will work? I don't know. We have to get out there and play. There's nothing not being said. That's exactly what they said. Exactly what they said. Exactly what they said. That's exactly. Hey, by the way, see this? And Perez? That's why you don't like Big Sills talking like the players do. Shut up, because what? The players are telling you the same thing I'm telling you? Hey, by the way, see this here? My comments about A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith have nothing to do with me. Nothing. I don't know why guys like him and Mr. Perez make it about, it's nothing to do with me. Zero. What does that have to do with me? What in the world does that have to do with me? He's down here saying now, they're saying what they should say. Correct? Players are not going to give anything the benefit of the doubt ever until they see it work. They're not going to go here and go like this. Well, hell, you know, we got all these really fancy players, and it's going to work. Dream Team 1. Dream Team 1. Hey, how'd that Brooklyn Nets Dream Team work out? With Harden and Durant and Kyrie Irving on it. I mean, get this. How come Sill says that the defense is going to suck without watching it play out? Because I told you, you're inexperienced. You're going to suck at the beginning versus veteran quarterbacks and good talented quarterbacks and great play callers like Matt LaFleur early in the year. Even your coach, Vic Fangio, said, I'll tell you in 12 weeks how good we'll be. I don't know yet. We got a lot of new faces, new coaches. The whole thing is new. Do you know you change out every single position coach just about on defense, and you only change one out besides the coordinator on offense? You got massive turnover on defense, not only player-wise, but coaching staff-wise. And you think that's going to be a week one success? You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. I'll tell you this. Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, they get it. They know what's up. They know what's up. Okay? That's how you're supposed to be ready for a season. I'm not getting ahead of myself thinking this thing's going to be a grand slam. Let's see if the coordinators under pressure can, let's see if the coordinators can act under pressure with all this talent around them. Both sides. You don't know that. All right. Guys, do me a favor. We are so proud to have our great relationship with our friends at BetUS. You guys are looking for a brand new book. How about this, man? 125% bonuses on your first 3 deposits for up to $2,000 during this football season. I think, if I'm not mistaken, North Dakota State, Carson Wentz's team and Christian Watson's team take on Deion Sanders' Colorado team tonight. I think that's what the schedule is. And then you got those big games on Saturday, obviously. No question about it. 125% of your first 3 deposits of up to $2,000. Absolutely awesome. Plus 200% in crypto makes this one of the best sites there is for this coming football season. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. You are absolutely going to fall in love with them. betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
Michael Vick at betus.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sil's National Football Show. Appreciate you guys coming aboard. Zander Krauss will be at the bottom of the hour. Thank you guys so much. Please hit the like button. You're killing it. And I can't thank you enough for doing that. Absolutely awesome here. I'm trying to look for that comment here. Oh, here it is. Here's Howie. Howie did an interview on a local radio station, and he was talking about the upcoming season. And just a question on Howie. Howie Roseman on the Super Bowl this year asked about This football team, he said, we have to go out and prove it. We have to go out and prove it. We got a lot of good players. Got to go out and prove it. We're going to exhaust ourselves to get to that goal of winning a Super Bowl. No other mindset but that is to win this thing. Wants to get into a position where this football team is getting more balanced, like I've been telling you. Okay? Now here's my question to you about Howie. Does Howie Roseman, to validate his career in Philly, need to win another Super Bowl? I don't give Howie Roseman credit in 17. The majority of the credit for that. I give it to Doug. I almost think that Howie fights the same thing that Jerry Jones fights. You know what that is? Jimmy Johnson's shadow. Howie Roseman fights the Doug Peterson shadow. I mean, think about this. It's one thing to put people on a football team. It's another thing to lose your left tackle, your starting inside linebacker, and then your MVP candidate quarterback. And take a coach that takes a backup quarterback and beats Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Sorry. Howie gets about 20% of that credit. Doug gets the 80. That's Doug's Super Bowl. That's not Howie Roseman's. It's not a 50-50 deal. Players were missing off that football team all year long with injuries, and Doug made it work. That was a complete coaching and a guy who ran his own roster and why he won the Super Bowl. I think Howie fights a little bit. Look at some of the small little nuances that the Eagles are doing to accentuate Howie's place in the organization. Look at some of the moves, okay? The Anais Smith thing is a joke, okay? It's a complete joke. Howie keeps guys, he says the priority is to keep the guys we draft on the roster. No, it's not. It's to keep the best players on the roster, not because you drafted them. There lies the difference. He's not a football guy. You had a football guy win a Super Bowl for you. So I ask you, does Howie need a Super Bowl? Another one? Because here, let's do this. Howie built a good enough team in 22 to get you there, but he didn't build a good enough coaching staff to finish the job. He didn't do a good enough job at 22 to finish the job. Okay? Let me say this about 2024. This is going to say a lot about both Howie Roseman and Jalen Hurts. Hurts is going to put down the Sileo bashing and run to his MVP and a Super Bowl trophy. And Roseman's going to prove that he can build through the draft on defense with patience and good hirings. Make me go mute. So does he need another Super Bowl win? Because, again, that's not his. He was a secondary guy to that. Some of the significant moves, Chris Long, the Adai, the LeGarrette Blount, I'm not saying those weren't critical. You still someone's got to move the chess pieces. And from what I'm told from everyone, from Seth Joyner on down, there was a constant battle on the active roster on Sunday with Howie and Doug. And Doug did shit his way. And finally, Doug kicked the can down the road. Those are Seth Joyner's words. So I ask you, How important is 24 to Howie? Let me tell you something. If that defense does it, and you guys are not going to give it the latitude it needs, because I think it can be decent. Not now, but it can get there. It's funny, man. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, they even want to see the whole thing work out. They don't even know what they have yet. Okay? Let me show you something here that's more important than anything else when it comes to Sirianni in this mess. Sirianni is now irrelevant in almost 2024. He's irrelevant. The only way he's relevant is if he does something stupid, not smart. Okay? Sills, honestly, do you see us winning 12 games? Honestly, no. But wait a minute. You see, you're going to take that as a rip. Let me ask you this, my friend. How many wins last year did Kansas City have? 11? They had as many wins as you. How come that looked like a 14-win team and you look like a 5-win team? Does it really matter what the record is as long as you're playing great ball at the end of the year? That record fucking doesn't matter. I get it. Division title, home field, that does. But at the end of the day, how are you playing is more significant. Kansas City didn't even have, by the way, they were a wild card team. Or, excuse me, they did not have home field. They had to go on the road. They played the AFC title game in Baltimore. Circle back. So let me see what you guys would say here. Does Howie need to win another Super Bowl to validate his career in Philly? Yes or no? Okay. Yes or no? I finally figured something out. Sills has to say he's a professional. He's a professional troll. If I'm a troller, why are you here and it's my show? I thought trolling you went places and trolled. Isn't that how that works? You're the one trolling me. I'm not trolling anybody. I'm not posting anything. You came here to post that. Aren't you the troller? Not sure what that is, Mr. Perez. I think you got it backwards, guy. You're here saying that. Trolling me. I'm not posting anything. You're here saying that to me. Are you not? How am I a troller? I mean, I thought you went places and trolled and did things like that. I'm confused. Someone will have to give me a little bit of an insight on how the troll world works and how you live in it, because I don't know what that is. So most of you in here, okay? Most of you in here, okay, believe that he needs to. I do too, man. I completely do too. Guys, please hit the like button. Where are we right now in that like list? You guys are great. Thank you. Seals, if Becton out and succeeds in playing the guard position from being a tackle, would transitioning a tackle to guard be a new move? Or is it because of Stoutland? I think it's because of Stoutland. I think Jeff Stoutland is a magic worker. I think he's a magic worker, man. I think he's a really great coach. I mean, not because he coaches Mulata or Lane. He coaches Fred Johnson. Sills, what changes your view on Hurts' 4,530 touchdowns, but 7-9 for 3,200 yards, but 14-3? 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns. You won 14 games with a guy throwing for 3,800 yards. What makes you think he's going to throw for 4,500? Why? Because Kellen's in the room? That's crazy to think that. Players still got to perform. He's still got to go out there and do things he hasn't done in his life. Checkdowns. underneath passes, a short passing game. In his 3 years in Philly, he hasn't shown any propensity. Now, is that coaching? Sure, okay. Well, let's find out. He's going to do something he's never done? Okay. Isn't it crazy? You give people benefit of the doubt for things they've never done when you don't do that in your own lives. Hey, I think the check will get here by Friday so I can pay my rent. You're giving that the benefit of the doubt? Really? Tell you what, your landlord doesn't give you the benefit of the doubt. Hey, my check will be here. Yeah, well, I'm the landowner. I ain't giving you the benefit. Jalen did a lot of short and over-the-middle passes in 22. Yeah, because it was an RPO offense. That's right. If we don't get or make the NFC title game, Nick better grab a bus ticket out of Philly. Got to get to the NFC title game. Okay. Sales could be empty calorie yards. So you're saying your defense is good enough, Samuel, that you're going to have teams up 28-6. And your defense is going to be a defense that's going to hold teams under what? 14 points? Never happened. You'll be lucky to hold teams to 23 points a game. Last year, you were at that number too. You were right around, no, I think it was 26 points a game, you guys. 24 points a game, something like that. You guys gave up. You better hope that number improves. You can't win football games giving up 3 touchdowns in this league. You're going to give up 3 touchdowns a game. Have you improved on that? Where? Pass rush? I don't think so. Corner play? Not yet. Linebackers? Not nearly. You keep telling me this. Even the players on your own team talk better than this. Crazy how they talk like me, and you kill me for how they talk. How fucking crazy is that? Seals, how was Love considered to be good when it was just his first year starting in 23? Abe, that's what you have with Hurts. Hurts has been mediocre in the other 2 seasons he started. He's only had 1 year. Do I think you need to have more from him and everyone else? Yes. Jalen Hurts, in his 5 years, going into his 5th year, has had 1 exceptional season. That's not a career. He went to the Super Bowl. Let me show you this. Why do you think people like the folks in Philly hate Brock Purdy? Why do you think they hate Brock Purdy and don't believe in Brock Purdy? Even though he's turning out to make a lot of people look stupid. He fights the shadow of Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy did it. Jimmy was good. And now he's doing it a little better, but he's theoretically doing the same shit. He's doing the same stuff that Jimmy did. Jimmy goes to Las Vegas and he stinks. So people, it's not just the 12th round or the 7th round tag that he has to wear. It's the fact that Garoppolo also took a team to the Super Bowl. Okay? I mean, Sileo omits how good the 40. No, that's why they're better than you. 49ers are a better roster than you, top to bottom. They're a better 53-man roster. You have nowhere on that team anywhere near Hufanga at safety. You have nowhere in the world anywhere near Dre Greenlaw. And I know he's not playing yet, but you have nowhere near Fred Warner. And you have nowhere remotely close to Nick Bosa. Nothing. Bosa's the second highest paid non-quarterback in the league. He's a defensive rookie of the year, and he's 26. Nothing like that. Even their corners are good. Okay. Bose is a no-show in the playoffs. I'll tell you what, he showed up last year at Lincoln Financial when they destroyed the Eagles. He showed up. Samuel says, Sills, I was saying we get blown out, but Hurts got 4,500 yards off empty calorie time. Hey, Jalen Hurts, you want to hear something, Samuel? This is going to sound crazy. Samuel, Jalen Hurts has a better chance of throwing for 4,500 yards going 9-8 than he does if you go, what's Zander's number? 15-2. Why is that? Because when you get the lead, you're going to hand the ball off. You're not going to throw it. You're going to try to burn the clock out. So the opportunities of throwing the ball are going to be limited. Do you ever wonder why some of these guys have big numbers and these big passing numbers? Well, because usually their records are right around 500. They're not how many 50? Get this. How many 15-win teams? Shit, last year's MVP had 3,100 passing yards. Won 14 games? Won 14 games, and he passed for 3,100 yards. I mean, Hurts has a better shot at going for 46, 4,500 if he's 9-8. He's going to have to throw the ball. You're up on a team 26-7. Why in the world would you throw it? Unless you're a dummy. 3 and out, stop the clock, help the team out, put them back in a position to score. Why would I keep doing that? Okay? Oh, he had no. You're a liar. Okay, excuse me. I was talking about the year they won 14 games in 17 when he won the MVP. Excuse me, senor. He threw for 3,100 yards in 17, and they won 14 games that year. And he only threw for 3,106 or something like that, 17, when he won the MVP. Yeah, the other MVP year. Excuse me. My bad. Whatever, guy. His first MVP season, he threw for 3,100 yards. Thank you. Got to be technical with Senor because you know why? He's a statistician at heart. Got to love it. What a douche. Let's see here. Shanahan is to blame for the 2 losses. Marv lost 4 Super Bowls. We're starting to become the Bills of the 90s. He does have to win. Make no mistake about that. He does have to win. All right. Hey, you're starting the season out with a colossal disaster with this Bradberry deal. Someone goes like this. Watch this. Well, Sills, he's a non-factor. Really? Well, he had a 53-man roster seat. So what, how he's passing out roster seats because he cut a deal with Bradberry? And then the guy's out now 8 weeks. Hey, I hope it's not serious. I do. I hope it's not serious. That being said, there was a little conflict yesterday when it came to the most overrated player in the National Football League. And Big Sills had Hurts number 1. One of my favorite topics of all time. Jalen Hurts, overrated, overhyped, 1 season on his resume. Some didn't like that. And now to the rescue. For all of you Eagle fans, there's only one man that can save you, and he is the co-host of Birds 365. Please hit the like button. Here he is, Big Z.
What up, Big Sills?
What's going on, my friend? How are you doing, my good friend?
I cannot complain, brother. Good day. 8 days out from the season opener, Big Sills. Life is good, brother.
Absolutely. They got to sign Trent, Nick. If they don't sign Trent, they're going to be in trouble in that opener against the Jets.
The Niners are screwed. Has anybody in the chat went and looked at what their cap hits are in the coming years, and they haven't even gotten half these guys under contract. They are screwed.
And the quarterback's next.
Yeah, right. Without the quarterback, I mean, they still got a lot of guys to get under contract. They are not in a good spot cap-wise. So thank Howie Roseman today, everybody.
Howie, oh yeah, we go there with Howie. Hey, by the way, let's start out with that topic that I just talked about. In your opinion, I give Howie Roseman 20% credit for the 2017 Super Bowl, and I give Dougie P 80%. Does Howie Roseman need to, I don't want to say validate because he got him there in 22, but he showed you in 22 one thing. He may know how to build a team. He don't know how to build a coaching staff. You tell me, does he need to have another Super Bowl on his resume for people in Philly to go, that guy was the greatest general manager in Eagle history?
Well, regardless of however you slice the credit out, he was the general manager when we won our first Super Bowl. So, look, I get it. I'm just saying, I don't think Howie needs to do anything to earn anything other than be a great general manager year after year. I think it would be great to get hardware. Obviously, that's why we're doing it. But I don't think Howie has to do that in order for him to get respect. I mean, I think I think that ship has sailed. We won the Super Bowl. I do agree with you. I think it was more Doug. But listen, Howie made some key moves during that year. Leading up to those seasons, it's correct to say Howie Roseman was not as good of a general manager building the teams with Carson Wentz as he has been with Jalen Hurts. Just look at the team now compared to what it was, back with Carson Wentz.
But the long move, the LeGarrette Blount move, the Adai move,
the Jay Ajayi move, some of those moves, man, that just I truly believe they put us over the top that year. And so he deserves some credit for that. But when you beat Tom Brady and Bill Belichick with a backup quarterback, your coach deserves some credit, as does the players on the football field, as does the backup QB. So, but no, Howie still got the Super Bowl. I think Howie's been on a mission, though, man. He said it on WIP today. I know he's just obviously going to say what everybody wants to hear, but look, I really think he's backed it up. It's one thing to say it. It's another thing to, go and sign the guys you've signed. Go and extend AJ Devontae. Go and sign Saquon Barkley when you're not used to signing running backs. Go and trade a third rounder for a third receiver, even when you might have needed it, but you didn't really need it. He wants to show that he's going to do whatever it takes, he believes, to put us over the top. And I think he deserves credit for that, even if he makes some bad moves in that process.
See, Zander Krauss used to be a Philadelphia Eagle fan and a real Philadelphia sports fan, because now he's giving you credit for showing up to the exam, taking the bar and failing it.
No, I'm just being real. We have one Super Bowl.
You are being real. He showed up to the bar exam and failed.
Well,
because you build a nice team doesn't mean you're getting any other. That's like saying Kyle Shanahan doesn't have to win anything, because Kyle Shanahan has really built a nice team with John Lynch. At the end of the day,
that's not entirely true, because only one team can win the Super Bowl every year. So you can't justify a GM entirely on Super Bowls. I see what you're saying. You need to win to get it. But to justify Howie Roseman's existence on every GM in the league would be fired. Constantly.
But the owner has made him the best manager and the best GM in the league. Why? You know why? Because he allows the bag of money.
I don't think you can take it down. I don't think you can. I think you're knocking Howie a little bit too much. I see what you're saying. I like Doug too over that, but I think you got to give Howie some credit, man. I think that's a guy that doesn't. I know he's a Gator. I know you got your problems with him, but look, I respect a guy that is willing to look in the mirror, figure out where they went wrong, face the music, and then go out and correct it and do it in the way that he's done it. So I give Howie a lot of credit. I am not a Howie hater at all. I don't think he's, does no wrong, but I do think he's a top 3. Maybe he could be the top GM in the NFL right now in the last couple of years.
Over Brett Veach? I doubt it.
Well, Brett Veach is a different game, man. He got Patrick Mahomes, so that move alone might make him the best GM in the NFL. Yes, but he's playing it just like every other argument. You're like, yeah, you can't count Mahomes. Same concept. You think? Wait a second.
So wait a minute. That defense.
No. Let me finish. You think that team last year and the year before, they've won the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. You think that team is more talented than the Eagles roster from a GMing perspective?
No.
No, me neither. So my point is that Howie does a better job.
I think they're more balanced.
Brett Veach has the hardware because he's got Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid.
And Steve Spagnuolo.
Oh yeah, but
okay. Remember,
Steve Spagnuolo is not the reason. I mean, he's a part of the. He's a part of the team. Sells.
Dude, they got 7 Super Bowl championships between the two, Spagnuolo and the head coach.
I understand. I like Steve Spagnuolo too.
Do you really?
Let's not act like that's not mostly Patrick Mahomes there, the reason that they've won back-to-back Super Bowls.
I'm not suggesting that, but I'm saying this. They're not going to win that. If that football team was carried by that defense last year all the way
early last year, yeah. Look, Steve, football is a team game. It's never one person. It's never one GM. It's never one quarterback. It's always a team game. So Steve, yeah, he deserves credit. But to sit here and say Brett Veach is a better GM than Howie because he has more Super Bowls is not true.
Huh. Really? So what separates Howie being the best then?
Howie has a better roster. Brett Veach has the better quarterback, so he's got the Super Bowl.
You don't have a better defensive roster. You don't have a better 53 than Kansas
you just
City.
told me you think we have a better roster than them.
No, I think you have. I'll recant that. You have more talent on your roster, but you're not a better 53 than them. They're more balanced. Howie even said it himself. You're top heavy.
I think that's debatable. So I see what you're saying.
Howie said you're top heavy.
Well, we are a little top heavy right now, but that's all right. Would you rather be top heavy or low or bottom
I'd rather
heavy?
be balanced. Balanced rosters win.
Yeah, but it's a lot. Again, you're comparing us to the guy that has Superman at quarterback. There's only one of them.
Do you think you're better?
Every other team.
Do you think you're better in San Francisco? You think you're better in San Francisco?
I think that's the one roster you could probably argue maybe have us beat. And Detroit this year is close, but I like our offense better than Detroit's. Detroit, I think, probably has a better defense with some of the
and offensive line.
Offensive line, Detroit's is nasty. I'm not as big on Jared. I like Jared Goff. I'm actually higher on him than most, but I'm not quite at the elite level that I think Jalen Hurts is at. So that knocks them down for me. But no, yeah, there's a couple other rosters out there. But look at San Francisco. Look at what their next 5 years looks like, and then look at the Eagles. Look at the dude in Cleveland who just signed Deshaun Watson.
They restructured that deal.
Yeah, well, they got a $75 million cap hit, man, coming up. They are going to be in cap hell forever.
They restructured it today. They restructured it.
I know they did, but there's only so much you can restructure. I read all about the restructure. They're still going to be in cap hell, which shows you
it's $45 million.
It's also it is Lurie a little bit, but Howie's playing a different ball game than some of these guys. He's a top GM out there for sure.
I want to ask this question one more time to you here. Do you believe going into this year that your 2024 Philadelphia Eagle roster, with the greatness of Orenthal Burks being added to the 53-man roster today, is better than the 23 Philadelphia Eagle roster that won 11 games, had the 8th best offense in the league, and averaged 27 points a game?
Are you talking about the no holes defense? Is that
no holes defense? That's what I'm talking about.
Are you telling me we've added Oren Burks to the no holes defense?
Unbelievable.
So we could be going 17-0 after that.
Oh, hey, with Orenthal Burks being added to the roster, this makes this thing look like gangrene. You had no-name defense with the Dolphins back in the Super Bowl days. Now you have the no holds defense in Philly. Way to go, Zander. You had Kenny Pickett. Now you have the no holes defense. You feeling better about this roster than you did a year ago?
I'm feeling better about the team than I did a year ago. I think remember last year everybody came in slightly jaded, whether you were a fan, a reporter, an analyst, or a player or a coach on the team. You were coming off a Super Bowl. When you come off a Super Bowl and you lose, your expectation is by default get back and win. And I think everybody viewed that from a somewhat, skewed lens, if you will, whether it was a fan lens, a reporter lens, a Dan Sileo lens, I don't know what kind of lens that is, but
truthful lens.
I think you view it skewed. I think we view it from a more objective point of view now. And I think the team is better positioned overall. Maybe the roster, it's tough to say this roster is better when you lose guys like Jason Kelce and Fletcher Cox and Hassan Reddick, who is your most productive defensive player. It's tough to say. I think the offense is better. I mean, they added Saquon. They lost Queasy. Dotson's an upgrade from Queasy, at least. So I think the offense is better. You lost Kelsey, so you could argue the line maybe took a step back, but no, I think the offense is better. I think the defense is probably about the same. You did add CJ. You added some youth at corner that's unproven, so I get where you're going to push me back on that, but I'm confident in Quinyon Mitchell. I think he's going to be a good player, and I'm confident in one of the two, Isaiah or Keely Ringo, being a competent corner up to what James Bradberry was last year, which wasn't that great of a bar. So linebackers are a question, but they were a question last year. They weren't great last year. So obviously there were Nick Morrow and Shaq Leonard and Zach Cunningham. So I think it's pretty easy to improve from that position. And I think how much better Jalen Carter is going to be this year will make up for at least some of what you lose with Fletcher Cox. Not all of it yet, but got to see that to believe that. But I think the defense, I think we're fine. And I think we have better coaches. I think we have better coordinators this year. So that means as a whole, I think the team is better positioned to make a run this year than they were last year. And now hindsight is 2020, but still.
We missed that super chat. If you could post that.
Yeah, let me pull that up.
Let's pull this up. Anybody, by the way, all super chats go to the top. We so appreciate it. If Vic stinks, we should hire Tim Waltz at DC. I heard he's a legend on the gridiron. Yeah,
I'll pass on that. Thank you.
You know what? I'd rather have Mike Vrabel.
I'd rather have Sean Desai. I'd rather have who's the guy that took over last year? Matt Patricia. Give me Matt Patricia over that.
Yeah, I heard he's a legend too on the gridiron, man. I heard he led the All-State team to the Triple City title up there in Wisconsin.
I can't wait. I'll let you run through your topics and we can debate. I cannot wait.
Let's go.
Give you my list.
All right.
Of overrated quarterbacks and my updated 2024 Philadelphia Eagles win prediction. It's sitting at 13-4. Sills has been teasing that I might change it. That will come at the end of the interview.
Hey, all I know is that thing. Here's what I would say. I did it yesterday. Let me see if I can do it off the top of my head. Let's see. Hurts, number one, of course, most overrated. Number two. I would probably go. Let's see here. I put Kyler Murray on this list. I would put Tua on this list. I would put Lawrence on this list. And I would probably put Geno. If I had to rank them, Geno's 5, Lawrence 4, Tua 3, Murray 2, Hurts 1. There's your most overrated quarterbacks.
You had Jalen Hurts at number 1?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. What are you, Nick Wright, dude?
No, I think he's overrated. Once again, I've never seen – boy, I'll tell you what. I've never seen a quarterback in pro football history since the salary cap era have more talent around him than this guy. Holy shit. Hey, get this and do me a favor on your list that you're going to have.
Yep.
You ready?
I'm ready.
So the number one player in pro football, according to NFL.com, is Tyreek Hill, right? That's who the players That's who the players voted on.
Yeah, that's dumb, but okay.
Okay, well, there was a list the other day that players voted on overrated. So the players voted Tyreek Hill as the number one player in the NFL. Then explain this to me. You're telling me the Kansas City Chiefs got rid of the best player in pro football according to the players, and they won 2 in a row and they're better? How do you trade a guy who's the best player in the game off your team and you're better? Zander, how do you do that? How is Kansas City, who doesn't have the best player according to the players, does not have the best player in the league, but the best player in the league's Tyreek Hill? And Tyreek Hill is traded off the team in Kansas City's better. And he's in his prime.
What's your point, though?
My point is those lists are full of shit with players voting.
Okay.
Look at the optics.
Well,
use your eyeballs.
I didn't even say the name Josh Allen, and you're already in a tizzy.
I haven't mentioned Josh. Dude, When Tom Brady and Peyton Manning say he's the second best quarterback in the league, no matter what anybody says, it sounds nice. It's a good conversation, but
Okay, where did Tom say that, or are you paraphrasing
he listed
that to
Ed
fit your
Allen number
beliefs?
2. It's
Okay.
hey, in case you know, you can go to that fascist internet web search place called Google. Tom Brady top 5 quarterbacks.
Yes, this is correct, Prince. They actually stopped this in, I think, week 11 up to week 11. Well, yeah, so I don't know if it's week 11 they stopped, but they don't do the list late in the year. And you could even argue that Hurts would have went down though, so be careful what you say there, because Hurts at the end of the year obviously had a different end than he did beginning of the year when he's 10-1. So
ESPN had him 33, 30 best player in the league at the top 100, Jalen.
Sounds about right.
You think he's the 33rd? I think he's a little higher than that.
It's really hard for me to.
I think he's high. I think he's higher than that.
Yeah, it's tough for me to put all the positions together. It's like I can't. How do I compare Jalen Hurts to a defensive tackle, or a cornerback, or a linebacker, or an offensive lineman?
About the best players. In the game.
It's tough to. I prefer to do it by position, but I get it. I get why they do it. So.
Orenthal Burks. Let's go over a little bit of the players and what they said the last 2 days.
Okay, you don't want me to give you my top 5, do you?
I want to hang in there to the very end here.
All right, you can hang on there.
I'm going to hang in there until the very end.
All right,
okay?
Let's do it.
I like this Britton Covey kid, man.
Yeah, Britton Covey's great, man. I think he deserves a bigger role.
Have you ever
watched his tape in college?
Yeah, Utah. Yeah.
I'm not saying I know it's a different game, but he has the ability, I think, to really create some space, and he's proven that in practice here, even in Philly, and especially in this training camp. Where
I think he could be an Edelman or Amendola type guy.
Is he? Too
they performed
small,
out of the slot.
He's too small, though, I think, to be that consistently. But I would like to see him get out there and at least give him a shot at it. But I understand why they don't want to go that route. It does make sense to me. He's like 5'7", dude. I mean, you remember when he first pulled up to the NovaCare or the link, the security guards are like, "Who the hell are you, dude? Get out of here. Go back to your South Philly home," because they didn't think this guy was a football player. So I get why they don't go that route, but I definitely like Britton Covey. He's a hungry dude, and he plays hard, and he leaves it all out there, which I respect.
Senor goes, wasn't Sills talking shit on Covey when he skipped out on Sills' show? He never skipped out on my show. Actually, I was talking shit on him, and he apologized to me. And now that's why he follows me on Twitter.
We had the little tiff with Britton Covey.
We did, but now he follows me. And
he's cool with us.
And get this. I actually congratulated him on making a 53, and in the process, I got called racist because I congratulated him and he liked it. And he sent me a message behind it. He goes, "Man, you really appreciate it a lot." I go, "Hey, man, making a 53-man roster, being a special teams guy, and being called crash test dummy." I go, "That's pretty awesome, man." He goes, "Yeah, I'm just hoping for a bigger role." And you know what else he said? He goes, "The coaches and the players." You know what he said? The biggest thing that was the difference in this camp for him, the way Jalen and the coaches talked to him.
Yeah,
he felt like he was part of the group.
That's.
But last year he didn't.
Well, I think that's because Kellen Moore's offense requires you to be in communication with all of your guys. If they're on the field, you got to be in communication. Doesn't matter what slot they're at. You could be tight end too. You could be the 11th guy out there in terms of importance, but you're going to have to be involved. And I think that's partly Kellen Moore's system, which is communication heavy. There's a lot of motion. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of spreading around of the football. So I think that goes into it, but it's good to hear. I mean, look, you got to earn your way in the league. So it's good to know that he's grinded through it and has earned his way, but let's see it on the field,
I absolutely hear. This was my favorite interview so far of the players that got on the mic this preseason for the Eagles was Fred Johnson.
Yeah, it was awesome. I talked about it this morning on Birds.
Incredible. Let me tell you something, man. When you hear a player talk about a coach saving one's career and you hear him the way he talked and you bring these comments up, he goes like this. He goes, "I just have to mentally stay focused." He said, when Nick brought up I was doing so well, it got back to me. I blew up the next day. I had my worst practice. He goes, but here, they asked him if he wanted to play guard. He goes, "Hey, I'll play anywhere these people want me to play." He also came down and he goes like this, Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata go to him and go, "Stop overthinking shit. Just stop overthinking, Fred." And then Fred went on to say this, "Jeff Stoutland coached me when I was on the scout team, the same way he coaches Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson, there's no difference in coaching. And I thought to myself, that guy could coach high school kids, little bitty football kids, college kids. He could coach anybody on the planet, and it's why he's the best coach the Eagles have had in that building since Jim Johnson. What a fucking amazing coach. To hear a guy go, you know what he kept saying to me? I'm not quitting on you. I'm not quitting on you. Do you know what and how cool that is to hear a guy that accomplished looking you in the face going, I believe in you and I'm not quitting on you? Zander, it's more than just, hey, line up, make sure you get your head and you're slipping and scooping up to the third level. It's more than that, man. I mean, he is really an exceptional. He goes, even his technique is different. So you have to be fundamentally focused. And he goes, hey, I was almost out of the league. This guy saved me. I mean, I'll tell you, I loved it. I thought everything you want in a coach is that man right there.
No doubt. And I'm sure that one hits home for you, especially Sills, when you hear a guy that plays on the line, a guy that, you heard John talk about him. He's like, when Fred first got here, he almost acted like he didn't belong because he just never envisioned it for him. I don't know what it was, but John worded it beautifully on Birds 365. And when you hear him take that type of jump and speak so candidly about it at the podium, I was the only guy brought up today from press conferences with John, just because I heard the bite. And I'm like, it was almost heartwarming in a way, Sills, where you're like, you feel for the guy, you respect him more because of it. And,
it's emotional.
He sounds like he's a different man now. And he knows that, when you become a different man, that requires you to be a different person, to act a different way, to do things a different way. And, to see someone do that, I think is like I said, it's a little bit heartwarming. It's emotional. It was great. It was a great interview. I would encourage every Eagle fan to go and listen to that. It was dope. It was good.
Hey, how about this? When you make an O-line like the Lions, the Eagles, the Ravens, Falcons, Cleveland, whoever's considered top 5 guys, and you make one of those teams, dude, you have a job in this league for the next 10, 15 years because you're being coached by some of the best. And now get this. Let me carry this over to Becton. This is why Becton came here. Was exactly why Fred was talking. Is exactly because of that. Zander, that could play a factor in him taking hometown discount to stay in a place where he knows.
Well, let's see how good he is. We're talking about a guard. I mean, he's played tackle, so I like Becton. I don't know how good he's going to be at guard, though.
I don't either, but get this. He's starting there now for.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Absolutely. Let me say again about A.J. Brown at the press conference.
All right.
I got to tell you, man, AJ talks like Big Sills, and I loved it. He was asked about Dotson. He goes, he's a hard worker. I liked him. I liked him in college. I saw him as a route runner. He goes like this. He goes, he's going to have an opportunity. And I agree with you, Zander. He's got to do it. But you know what AJ said? He's going to have every freaking opportunity because of coverages towards Devontae and AJ, that he's going to have a chance to reinvent his career. Whether he takes advantage of that or not is yet on the player, right? It's on the player. But this offense is going to give Jahan Dotson an opportunity to resurrect his career where people think of him at least as a 2.
No doubt about it. I love AJ. There's been no player Sills is more wrong about than AJ Brown.
I never said he was bad. I said
you called him a diva, and I don't.
He is a diva.
I don't see diva with that guy at all. I don't see one. I don't even see a smidge.
I love the Patriots. Oh, they're my favorite grown-up
I don't even
team.
see a smidge of diva in him. Not a smidge.
I love the Patriots when Tom was there. I wish I got drafted instead of N'Keal Harry. Oh my God. All the postings and shit. Then he got his little deal.
Who cares if he said that? Who would have wanted to get drafted with Tom Brady?
He's a baby. Oh,
he's not a baby.
He cried his weight. He got his deal.
He's not a diva.
Listen, I said he's good. He's good.
He's not a diva even a little bit. And to top it off, not only is he not a diva, he's the most productive receiver we've ever had in Philadelphia in a 2-year span. And I think he's on track to be maybe one of the best receivers we've ever had in Philadelphia.
Two things can be the same. Two things can be true. He's a moaner and he's good.
All right. I mean, I don't agree. I don't see the diva. And look, like some people would say, diva's not bad. I mean, diva, Sills makes diva sound bad. Having a little diva in you is good, but I don't view the way
I have no diva in me at all.
Oh my gosh. Sills, I've never met a heel like you in my life.
Yes, you had. You know who he is? The Road Warriors.
Yeah, whoever find who's the biggest heel on WWE right now. If you're a WWE fan in the chat, who's the biggest heel out there? I'll put Big Sills up against him.
I'm more of a pacifist. I am not a heel here. I am not the bad guy of Philly. How about this here though? He was asked the question. He goes, "Do you think that this offense?" And of course, Xander's already got a massive prediction headed our way here soon. AJ Brown was asked, "Do you think this offense will be better than 23?" He goes like this. Time will tell. I don't know yet. I don't know how this. He goes like this. I have no idea how this is going to work yet. That's camp. That's not really a game. Isn't it funny how Big Sills talks this way and all you media guys like Zander Krauss and everybody at IP and 97.5? Holy shit. He was 190,000 on picks in camp. Wow. And you have AJ going like this. That's practice and that's camp. That's not real football. And he's saying, I don't know how it's going to work. Get this. Devontae said the same thing. He asked the question.
What a common NFL answer at a press conference.
He goes like this.
Sileo was blowing it up.
Wait a minute. Here's the deal. Well, AJ didn't suffer last year. Guy had almost 1,600 yards. He didn't suffer.
No, he didn't.
Hey, that shows you right. Wait, that shows you his diva mentality. Is this offense going to be better than a year ago? You know why he didn't say, yeah, it is? Because last year he got his numbers. I got my numbers just because everybody else didn't
run of the mill answer, Sills. It's a run of the mill answer. It's a political answer. At a press conference.
Course, cover. Here we go. Holy cow, you sound like CNN.
Whatever, Sileo. Whatever.
Hold on here. Here's Devontae. He goes like this. He's like, hey, what do you make of the offense? He goes, well, I'm not sure what we have right now. That's practice. We'll see how it works. We have to get everybody on the field, and we'll see what the options look like. I think everything's going to be a week-to-week situation. They absolutely, both of them, love the Dotson situation, and I think they understand that that's a 3 role. They're not talking about 1 or 2. So, again, Zander, he's going to have his opportunity, but I loved how Devontae
going to make both of their lives easier. I think they know that.
Hey, by the way, I think it's really awesome to hear both AJ and Devontae go, well, let's see how it works against Green Bay next Friday. I mean, I think that's fair, don't you?
They were political answers to me. I think you missed the lead on the day, which was the Jalen Hurts comment about Kelsey and the protections and being eager to learn more. Was halted. So I thought that was an interesting comment, but I thought the receivers gave you a whole lot of nothing. But leave it to Sills to come up here and turn them into divas.
Hold on. I'm not finished yet. I'm going to bring Carson Wentz up.
Okay.
And Jalen Hurts.
I'm a Carson guy. I like Carson. I have no problem with Carson Wentz.
So let me ask you this. Did you here, I got to, kind of dissect this because we got to be careful here because Zander says, I see things a different way than, by the way, hold on for a minute. Hey, Prince, we're going to get to your thing here in a second here, but let me do this here, Zander. Let's do this here, man. Don't forget.
Prince, that's a low blow. I'm not even bringing that up. That's a low blow, Prince.
Look at Prince here. Look at this.
Low blow, Prince.
Guys, do me a favor this football season. Make sure you hook up with JAKIB Sports and with our friends at BetUS. Great opportunity this football season, especially if you're looking for a new betting house, 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits of up to $2,000. Absolutely your one-stop place, the home of Michael Vick. And right now, again, like I said, great opportunities for you to be able to get involved, even I think tonight with North Dakota State and also Colorado with Deion Sanders and his team takes the field tonight. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalized service. Fastest payouts, as I said, in the business and live wagering on all major games. Let's go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Let me say this to you, folks. You're going to understand something of what I've been talking about between Jalen Wentz and what's happened with the last two quarterbacks. We'll do that in a second.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
Appreciate you guys coming aboard here. Zander, you unmuted?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Hey, Abe, thanks for keeping an eyeball on that too. Guys, please keep hitting the like button here. So I'm going to paraphrase this, and you tell me if I'm off the rails on this. Did you take away that Jalen Hurts' comments that maybe Jason Kelce, with the protections that he set, when he was told basically that he didn't have to worry about pass protection or worry about any kind of stuff like that, do you think he's throwing a small shot across the bow saying, hey, they took a part of the game that is part of a quarterback growing and developing as a progression reader of knowing where the blitzes are coming from? Because if you don't know where pressure comes from, at the end of the day, bro, you're not helping that quarterback grow, are you?
No, you're right. And I kind of took it as that way too. It was almost Jalen's way of like, the one thing I didn't like about it is
I don't think it's a shot at him. I think it's a shot at them.
No, I think he's more like so hell bent on bringing awareness to the fact that he believes he was hindered from things that weren't entirely up to him. And I'm okay with that, but I don't know. I did sense like a little, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. People are
I think you're right.
I think I sensed, I'm sensing a little bit of like no accountability from Jalen sometimes. Like where last year, you remember when the Seattle game happened and AJ Brown got up there and he's like taking full responsibility. A bunch, the coach did, the coordinator did. John to this day says the only guy who's never taken accountability for that was Jalen Hurts. He's the only one who now what we hear from Jalen isn't everything, right? He might have taken it behind the scenes.
He might have stood up in front of the team. No one knows.
Right. Right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Maybe he did, but he's got it down to a science in the press conferences on how to, kind of skate by the accountability part of it. It's almost like, everybody says I suck at blitzes. Well, Jason Kelce picked up the blitzes, so I was halted at learning. Like maybe it wasn't that. Maybe I'm overthinking it a little bit, but I did sense a little bit there. I'm like, come on, Jason Kelce's out the door. Kid doesn't even have a chance to answer for himself. He's gone, and you're throwing it all on that. I thought it was kind of meh. I didn't really care one way or the other, but I wasn't like thrilled with it.
I hope
it's better though that he has it. I will say that.
I hope he answers that on that New Heights podcast. I'd like to hear what he have to say about that.
I think he will, because he does address most things on that New Heights show, but I don't know if he will or not. By the way, I do think it's a good thing though that Jalen's got him, that has control over it now, because we've talked about it from jump, sink or swim for Jalen. Like we're going to see it all this year.
How about this? So if Jalen feels that way and is the first guy to come out publicly and say that he felt that the progression of his development at quarterback in Philly was hampered because he had no control of handling pressure and that it was handled by someone else other than the quarterback, how do you know they didn't do the same fundamental technique and maturing of Carson Wentz, and why Wentz held on to the ball too long, how Wentz didn't know where pressure was coming, how he didn't know any of that? How do you know that whole thinking process didn't become the unraveling also of Wentz? I'm not saying that Carson Wentz has the same metal that Jalen has, and he fell apart. And Jalen,
there's no way to know that.
Jalen fell apart too, but Jalen fell apart too last year.
Yeah,
he fell apart too.
There's no way to know that, and you're right. You do draw a fair correlation that as an Eagles fan, you can't just look past. No doubt, maybe it was a thing. I will say, Wentz is, a lot of people hate Wentz. And like I said, I have no bad blood toward Wentz. He's the reason we have a Super Bowl in this town. Look, I love the Nick Foles story, but that doesn't happen without what Carson Wentz did that year. So I like Carson Wentz. Obviously it ended sour here, but Wentz, if you look at the rosters he had over the years, they didn't compare to what Jalen's had to work with, that's not a fault of Jalen. But
quarterbacks would want a GM like that.
Right, exactly. You want a GM like that, but Howie wasn't operating at the same caliber when Wentz was here. So I think it's tough to compare the two for me, but
they both unraveled.
They both unraveled. You and the unravel. What the unravel?
I think going from 6 picks to 15 is unraveling.
Okay, what about Josh Allen's 18?
and 4 straight AFC East titles, and he's got same.
Wait a
stats.
second. Earlier in this
He's
interview,
got the
didn't you
same
just try
stats
and
as
knock
Mahomes. Wait, he's got a higher win percentage than Jalen.
in what?
Winning football games since Jalen's been in the league.
I don't know if that's true.
Really? Well, he does. He's got a 67% win percentage since Jalen's been in the league.
Okay, Josh Allen has a 67% career win percentage. Let's see what Jalen Hurts is, because Jalen Hurts is pretty high. 60. So, yeah, you're right. Josh Allen does have
He's
him
won
beaten
more
now.
games than him in the AFC. You guys all hang on that turnover. He's got 10 more turnovers than Mahomes in the same time since 2020. You play in the AFC, you're going to get beat by Burrow and Allen and all them other guys, or in Mahomes. Here, let me go back to here. Hey, Zander, do you not see the same characteristics that Jalen had at the back end of the season by holding the ball too long and doing this? Tell me who this is. I'm going to do an improv for you. Sack.
Wentz.
Hey, they look Wentz and Hurts.
Wow. Didn't Wentz have a game where he got sacked? How many? I don't know. What was the most sacks he ever took in a game?
I've never seen
I think
a
it
guy
was
do this.
I don't even think it was with the Eagles. I
Hey.
think it was, yeah.
I keep going like this. 3, 2, 3, down, field goal, touchdown. We're in. We're down 10. Dude, but they coached you. I get this. The fact that the organization had Jason Kelce handling the blitzes stopped the development last year of Jalen Hurts.
Sills, can I say something before I answer
Sure.
your question? You're burying the lead, Sills. You're burying the lead.
I don't bury nothing. I don't even know what the frig you're talking about. All I know is this, Junior. All I know is this. Didn't Jason Kelce hurt Jalen Hurts' development a year ago?
Well, you're not
his
wrong.
own admission.
I will read you the quote exactly so that we're not spreading fake news, okay? In the light of Sills acting like CNN is present. In the light of squashing all fake news, I will read the quote directly.
There you go. Read it off.
We had a great player in Jason Kelce who took on a lot of responsibility, and as a
backhanded
result,
slap.
Let me finish.
Backhanded slap.
Such an
when
Italian.
you always soften it up with a backhanded slap before you go for the heart.
And you're right, though. It's sad that you're right. And as a result of that, I was told not to worry about a lot of things. And so my eagerness to learn over the years kind of was halted. But now times are different. It is a little bit of an odd comment, right?
Here, watch. You know, we had a great player. Bam. And this is why it fucking sucked.
This is why it sucked for me.
Yeah.
Bang. Another slap. You're right. You're right. Look, I tell you when you're wrong, Sills, but I'll tell you when you're right. You're definitely right on that one. That's an interesting comment there.
Dude, and get this. Will you not agree that that's kind of the second or third time he's hinted at that?
Yeah. Oh, no. And that's why I wonder if he's almost just using it now to skate under some of what people have criticized about him from last year. And
that guy hides from – I don't know about hiding.
He doesn't strike me as that type of personality. I can only go off of his appearances in the media, though. I don't see him behind the scenes. I took John at his word. I did ask John off the record one time, yo, what's it like behind the scenes? And he's like, Jalen's the same guy, but I'm not there either. I can't tell you if he took accountability to the team or not. I've never seen it. I only have him when I have him, but Jalen will talk to those guys off the record a little bit, but he's what you see is what you get with Jalen, which I like. I think that's a good thing.
All right. Finally, we're here now. Let's do Zander Krauss's 5 most overrated quarterbacks in pro football. I have Hurts, Murray, Tua, Lawrence, and
Wait, you didn't have Tua on yours yesterday?
I know. I can't think of the other guy who I had on there because I don't think Tua is really. I can't think of the other guy I had. I can't think of the guy. I think I know I had Murray. I had Lawrence. I don't believe I put Cousins on there. You know, he's considered one of the.
Did you have Dak on there?
That's it.
We had 3 of the same. It's yeah. I mean, I don't know how many.
I had Dak on there. You're right. All right, Zander.
Number 5, Trevor Lawrence. from Jacksonville. I think he's way overrated. I think people are still living on what he did at Clemson. Got to see it, young man. It's time for you to do it. They put receivers around you. They've tried to bolster up that offensive line. You have a coach that won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles and Doug Peterson. I think the excuses are up for him, and he got the big money now. I don't know why. I guess they gave him the big money because what else are you going to do? But Trevor Lawrence, number 5 for me. Number 4, another overlap with Sills. Kyler Murray. He actually could be argued as number 1 on this list because of what he makes.
He beat Hurts last year.
Oh, good. What else? What has he won in the league? He has been a nothing burger, and he is severely overrated. He's number 4 on my list. Number 3, the greatest regular season quarterback in the history of regular season quarterbacks. Dak Prescott. Number 3, overrated QB in the league. Number 2, the man who's been living on the big arm his whole life. He's won approximately nothing in the NFL. Justin Herbert, the Chargers quarterback.
Tremendous talent. Tremendous talent.
And there's Sileo. I love his talent. I don't care if he doesn't win games.
Great talent. That's why
what
he's
an
paid.
overrated quarterback. Number 1 on the Zander Krauss list of overrated quarterbacks. Josh Allen, 5-5 in the playoffs, 0 Super Bowl appearances, 18 interceptions last season. The most overrated player in the game today is
not
Josh
true. Tom
Allen.
Brady, second best quarterback in pro football, baby. Remember that, kid. Okay? Let the GOAT help you out. The GOAT will help you out.
Listen.
And he will redeem you and help you. Let's see what here Michael has to say. That's a shitty list.
That's a great list.
It's more of a shot at poor offensive philosophies. It's been surrounded by over the past 4 years. Can the guy have the same OC? No! Michael, Jalen Hurts will never have consistency in coaching in Philadelphia. Get used to it. He's never going to. What a shit top 5. Here, by the way, here's my by the way.
So that was the best 5 overrated quarterback list you will find anywhere on the internet. That was phenomenal.
All right. Here are the 5 most overrated Eagles.
Oh, wow. I don't have that list.
Team. Here are your 5 most overrated. Number 5, a guy who's played center field and robbed banks like he was Jesse James without a gun. Darius, no big play Slay. He's overrated. He plays 10 yards off the ball. You paying a guy $10 million for what? Playing center field, high cover 2? Give me a break. You paid a guy number 4 $51 million, and this guy belongs on a milk carton or in a TP with smoke coming out of it. Giving us, where is Bryce Huff? Can you see those TP clouds, please? It's like Aaron Rodgers blowing dubs in a cave. Number 3, Jordan Davis. Like Brian Baldinger said the other day, told me, kid, you haven't done dick in 2 years. Number 2, you've got Kate Smith, a.k.a. Nolan Smith, at number 2. Haas, number 30. Hey, by the way, what'd you think of me saying that yesterday about playing him only on 3rd down and turning him into a Bryce Huff kind of player for Philly and at least pass rushing him out of the 3rd round because he's not a 3-down guy. Don't try to make him into one, man. Put him out there on 3rd down. Zander, if you get out of 450 plays, 10 sacks out of the kid, is that worth it?
Well, if he gets 10 sacks, yeah, but you're telling me we spent a 1st-round draft pick on a guy that can only play 3rd down?
I'm trying to save the pick.
I know you are, but you got to admit defeat in order to save it that way. So that would be yeah, I know you are, but I don't think the organization's gonna.
And the number 1, Jimmy Dean, no Kobe Dean. Those are your 5 most overrated Eagles, and unfortunately,
you don't have Jalen Hurts on that list, did you?
They are all. I'm talking league-wise. He's overrated. He's not on his team. He's not. Funny, they're all on defense. Howie. All right. I got one last one here for you before you get the hell out of here. Let me show you this. So who do you think Who do you think this is more 2024 on this year? Hurts or Roseman?
What do you mean on?
If this season bombs, are you going to look more at...
It's not on Howie Roseman.
So if Howie's defense ends up 26th again, he didn't do anything to improve the football team. You're saying that's not on a guy?
Well, here's the problem. With this topic is going to naturally leave out way too much context. Why did Howie spend so much money on the offense?
Because the owner told him to.
The owner told him to. Jalen Hurts needed receivers. They needed to prioritize there's all sorts of things. To say that Howie Roseman could have done that to the defense would negate why he did it in the offense in the first place. He spent now draft picks. How many draft picks has he spent first rounders on defense? You can't do much when you sign A.J. Brown and Devontae and all of these offensive linemen and Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. You can't do that on defense too. You have to build it a different way. So he gave you draft picks. He gave you Nolan Smith. He gave you Jordan Davis. He gave you Jalen Carter, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Keely Ringo, Nakobe Dean.
Some of those guys gave me a nosebleed.
Josh Sweat. All of these guys are our first 3-round picks. Like he's invested assets. I'm fine with what he did. But when you invest that type of money and capital and contracts and offense, you can't do the same on defense. So I'm not going to knock Howie for spending draft picks on defense. I can't.
Okay, so you didn't have a problem with it. Was the wide receiver number 3 more of a problem than linebacker or safety?
No, but that also leaves
and
out.
You gave a 3 up.
See, here's the problem. If you trade for a wide receiver 3, you can find that in a player that another team doesn't want anymore, because he doesn't need to be your top guy. You have different expectations for him at wide receiver 3 than a team would. When you trade for a linebacker, we have a bunch of backups. I don't need a backup linebacker. I need a great linebacker. I need a starting caliber difference maker. In order to do that, you have to have 2 to tango, and a team has to be willing to let somebody go, or it's going to be a contract dispute, and you got to bring him in and pay him.
3 is a pretty big pick for a guy at third wide receiver.
I agree. I never disputed that. I'm just saying that we don't know that he could have made the same move on defense and gotten an impact player for that type of compensation. I don't believe he could have. So
hang on. I got to take a sip of my rum and coke. He gives up a 3 for Jahan Dotson.
Crowley, you couldn't be more right. Stills is a master.
No. Stills is without a doubt always point on everything, and I'll be point on this.
Look at Tony Zanny drinking your Kool-Aid, putting Jalen Hurts as an overrated quarterback.
Oh, that's who I had. Way to go, Tony! I had Derek Carr on that list.
Tony. Is that might be Sills' list, Tony.
List.
Okay, he's not giving his own list. He's
Tony,
giving
that's it. Thank you. That's my list. There it is.
You made up some random list today.
Derek Carr, that's it, and then Hurts number 1. Hey, dog, your boys had one season, and you guys are ready.
By the way, let me answer Will. Will, I'm not losing reality at all, my friend. You're looking at it where the offense 3 years ago is where the defense was today. No A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith on a rookie contract, Jalen Hurts on a rookie contract, no Saquon Barkley,
those
a rookie
picks all
contract,
hit.
Miles Sanders. You think 3 years down the line, you're going
to have picks all hit.
You're going to have Jalen Carter. We know is going to hit. He's going to get a massive contract. Jordan Davis, they're going to pay. They're not going to let him walk out the room. Milton Williams is still on a rookie deal. Nolan Smith's on a rookie deal. BG is expiring. I mean, you got to give it time, because I'm not leaving out. I'm just saying this defense is a couple years back compared to what the offense is.
And that's why the Packers are going to hang 40 on you next Friday.
No, they're not. With who?
With Jordan Love.
Okay,
wait a minute. Jordan Love's done more in 1 year. In his first year.
No, he hasn't.
He won a playoff game.
He beat the Cowboys in the playoffs?
Wait, his first year starting, you're telling me he didn't do more than 1 year than Hurts did? Hurts' first year, he got blown out by the Bucks. He blew the Cowboys out, threw for over 4,100 yards and 30 touchdowns in his first year starting. Are you crazy? They weren't even remotely close.
He had a good year. I like Jordan Love. He's a good player, but you hit me with all the time. I've only seen it 1 year from her. I've only seen it 1 year. Let's see what he can do.
No, I completely have to see
The
consistency.
league got some tape on him now. Let's see what he can do. All right. If he comes out and has a big year, yeah, I'll eat crow on Jordan Love. I think he's going to be a good quarterback, by the way. But I'm not going to sit up in here and say, oh,
who has a better
he had
game
good
next
year,
Friday?
rookie year, or a good first year starting. He's going to hang 40 on the Eagles.
Hey, on that defense? Oh, yeah, I believe so. Hey,
No.
let me.
No.
Oh, well, because what? You have great pass rushers?
Bold prediction for week 1. Ready? Quinyon Mitchell
Oh,
intercepts Jordan Love.
All right, here's the final one now. We've been all waiting for this. This could be an addendum. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Zander had 14-3. Zander, have you moved the meter or the needle in any way with your bold 2024 prediction of the Philadelphia Eagles?
Well, let me do this before I give you it. So for the background on those who do not know, who were not here for the duration of the summer, I will show you my official win-loss prediction. Let me pull it up on screen. Give me 1 second.
Hey, maybe the Eagles bring Tooth back.
He's already back. They put him on the practice squad.
Yeah, Tooth made it.
Okay, so here you can see what my official win-loss predictions were. And let me see. I had Let me drop the graphic real quick so I can see. I had 13-4. I had a loss at Green Bay. I had a loss in the first week 10 Dallas at Dallas. So I had us losing the away game to Dallas. I had us losing to Baltimore, and I had us losing at Washington because they always play us close. I will officially be updating the win-loss prediction to 14 wins for the Philadelphia Eagles this year. They will win that game in Washington and sweep them. They will lose to the Packers, 1 to the Cowboys, and to the Baltimore Ravens, and they will march into the playoffs with the first seed, with the bye week, and with a 14-3 record, baby.
Big Sills has updated his.
Okay, let's hear it.
Ed, put that thing back up there.
You want?
I say the Philadelphia Eagles start the season out because you're going on short. You're going from a Friday game in Brazil back to a Monday night football game. You're going to start the 2024 season out 0-2. You will lose to Green Bay. You will lose, as I said, to Atlanta. You will lose to Baltimore. You will lose to Dallas. You will lose to Cincinnati. You will lose to Washington. You will lose to Tampa Bay. You will lose to the Los Angeles Rams to go 9-8.
1 second, I'll give you the thing again. 9-8. That's what you have us at. You didn't change anything.
No way. Nothing's changed off that shitty defense.
Chuck Hutton says, I'm 10 drinks deep with that prediction. Chuck, love you, brother. Appreciate it, man. Somebody has to push back on crazy Big Sills, and I'm going to be the one to do it.
11-6. Dude. Boy, you're really optimistic.
Pull that back up for a second.
Look at this here. Look at this.
Wait,
the no-holes defense is going to stop Joe Burrow.
Can you give me again what your 8 losses are?
He's going to stop Lamar Jackson. He's going to stop that no-holes defense can't stop Dak. He's 9-4 versus you.
So
I mean, come on, you make it sound like you own Dak. You don't.
Give me the 8 games you have us losing. Do you even remember?
Yeah. Yes, I do. You're 0-2 out of the gate.
Not losing to Atlanta. That's blasphemous.
You lose to Green Bay, Atlanta, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Dallas, Washington, Tampa Bay.
Not losing to Tampa Bay. Destroyed them in the regular season last
And
year.
were destroyed in the playoffs.
Different team in the playoffs.
Oh,
go ahead.
Look at this guy wobbling the whole deal.
Not
here.
losing to Washington and not
LA
losing,
Rams.
not losing to Joe Burrow and the Bengals. They can't even get their wide receiver under contract. He's moping around at training camp.
Rams.
Unlike our receivers who are all paid and ready to work.
You make it sound like your defense can't or beats Drew Lock. You got beat by a pizza delivery guy who's now working at Angelo's. Or no, he's at Geno's now. Come on, dog. And you hung your hat all over that practice stuff, and you even heard AJ going, practice, dog. Let's see how it looks. Don't worry, Zander. I'm here for you, man. I'm what they call a drink of reality. That's what I am. Just so you know, man. Too much rum for Sills. Mayfield, really? He beat the piss out of you. Really?
Sean, you got to talk some sense into this guy, man. I'm trying to do it.
Hey, Sean, did you forget the playoff game? Oh, yeah, that's right. You're an Eagle fan. Of course you did.
All right, so here's what we have to do. We have to come up with some sort of a bet or something that me and you can do that you have 9 wins, and I officially am coming in at 14 wins.
Let's do this.
Which means if they win 11 games, they're closer to Sills. And if they win 12 games, they're closer to me.
Let's leave it up to the people. And by tomorrow, we'll come up with something here. If you guys come up with something decent, and don't be stupid like Prince or LJ or some of these other weirdo guys. Nothing out of hand.
Prince is a JAKIB legend.
What's that?
Prince is a JAKIB legend.
He's a punk sometimes to me.
Prince, you're a JAKIB legend, brother.
Whatever.
We actually have a ton of JAKIB legends in here in this show. We have a lot of JAKIB legends. I really got to get some merch.
Okay, I'll tell you what,
help
man.
me with the merch. I need
chug
somebody in our viewers to help me with some merch.
I will chug a couple beers.
What if they win 14 games?
Yeah, I'll do about 3 or 4 beers. I'll chug them. I'll get hammered on the show.
So I don't think we need that.
I've already done a few of them anyway.
I don't think it's responsible of us as a company and for our people as listeners to.
By the way, just so you know, these guys do have a cutoff time where they can call Big Sills on weekends because after a certain time, you think he's hammered. That's Big Joe talking.
My phone is set to block any correspondence from Sileo after 8 p.m. Eastern, which, by the way, is 5 p.m. his time. Tells you all you need to know.
All right, man. So what'd you say, 14-3?
14-3, baby.
With that defense, you think you're not giving you.
And another bold prediction. Your MVP of the NFL in 2024 will be Jalen Hurts with 30 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and 4,400 passing yards.
Jalen Hurts will be replaced by Baltimore by Tanner McKee. Sills will have to read a Harry Potter book on the show. Hey, Prince, tell you what I'll do for you, sweetness. I'll bring you up. I'll tell you what, I'll bring some of you idiots up on. I know what I'll do.
Wait, did you get Freddie?
Did you get Freddie on the show?
Did you get Freddie? Prince, you're distracting from our man Freddie. Did you get Freddie?
Can our defense turn it around like Kansas City? Yeah, next year.
Freddie.
Yeah, but Freddie, you don't have Patrick Mahomes.
Freddie, don't let Sills win it when you're over.
You got Jalen Wentz.
Believe in hope, Freddie. It's August 29th. Believe in optimism, Freddie. Our defense can do it. Don't let Sills get to you.
How about this? We put some of these turds like Prince on the program. We put them up, we bring them up, and they get like a segment.
I want to do something for that anyway. Did you see my show? But during the preseason game, I had a couple of our viewers on.
Yeah.
I had Bob Brown and I had Mad Bird. Is Mad Bird in here?
Hey, by the way, some of you dress up.
If you Mad Bird. Bird, are you out there? Come on, Mad. Yeah, Mad Bird's in here. 429. That was 3 minutes ago. Mad Bird. He was great to talk to. Mad Bird is a sick. He's got like an Eagles Kingdom. Kind of
try not to look like a zombie like Prince, though, when you come on the program. Look halfway decent, Prince. If you're coming on the Big Sill show, you look like you were in like a an Aaron Rodgers.
Coming from the guy who comes on here in a multicolored Miami jersey that was given to him probably in 1989.
No.
Don't be chirping at Prince. All right.
Hey.
What are you wearing now, Sills? That was a free shirt given to you too.
Absolutely. This is
Put on a collar, Sills.
This is a Stanford High School shirt that was sent to me about a month ago.
Yeah. Put on a collar, Big Sills. You got to be kidding me.
This is
dude is
ridiculous.
Prince
14
and
kidding
me, Prince? Snap
14.
back at this guy.
Snap back. What do you think? He's smart? You're making it sound like Prince is smart.
The
Sills,
number
I'm
one overrated
I'm on the
quarterback.
right now. Need to switch Josh Allen's turnover machine.
He is a
Man.
turnover machine.
Guess what? And he wins more than Hurts. Bold prediction, 17-0.
I must have missed it. I must have been in a coma that Super Bowl when Josh Allen was in the Super Bowl. I must have missed that
you
one.
were in the same Super Bowl as Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo and Jalen and Colin Kaepernick are in the same boat together. Wow, they got their team to a Super Bowl.
The only difference between Colin Kaepernick and Jimmy Garoppolo in the Super Bowl is Jalen Hurts threw for 360 yards, had the second highest quarterback rating in Super Bowl history, had multiple touchdowns, multiple rushing touchdowns. He was dominant that day other than the fumble. Other than the fumble, he had a perfect game.
Here is the award for the silver medal. Congratulations. And the participation trophy.
Wait.
I almost played better than Mahomes.
At least Jalen actually got a silver medal. Josh Allen's never even gotten a bronze.
Brock Purdy got to a Super Bowl last year and took the team to a fifth quarter.
Sills, they've never made the Super Bowl. The team is underachieved overwhelmingly. He turned the ball over through 18
So you're trying to tell me that
year.
you think a guy that's gone to a Super Bowl like Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Warren Moon? Because Moon never went.
I didn't say that.
Okay. Well, so that Super Bowl has wait. It only works because it's against Allen and it doesn't work.
No, but you're using it to knock Jalen Hurts that he lost. If you're going to use the context that Jalen lost the Super Bowl, then I'm going to use the context Josh Allen hasn't even made it there.
So great. What a great. He's going to put.
I don't think Burrow's overrated. I think he's going to have to answer the bell though. He's been a little quiet the last couple of years. Yeah.
No, listen. All these guys do, man.
Yeah. Well, that's everybody. I mean,
but the only guy that I think actually will never win is Dak. But I do think Dak has this chance. If Dak goes somewhere else, there's a chance he can win. Okay? But he ain't winning one in Dallas. They're not winning another Super Bowl under Jerry Jones. They're just
Dak
not.
Prescott is severely overrated.
Even those numbers, he led the NFL in TD passes last year.
He's got good talent, man. How many times do we have to talk about talent isn't everything in the NFL? Talent doesn't win you Super Bowls. You are so fixated on talent.
That's how you get paid.
Okay, that's not how you win Super Bowls. Just ask Tom Brady. He grew up playing next to Aaron Rodgers, who was more talented than him in every area of the game.
I got it.
Brady was a better winner and a better player.
Not a better talent. Again, not everybody, like you said, can win a Super Bowl.
Okay, so whose career would you rather have?
I didn't say. I said to you about talent we were talking about. I didn't say about resumes.
Okay.
Resumes and accomplishments are different. That's why when I bring up Jared Goff, people laugh. Goff's the most accomplished player in the NFC right now, quarterback. Do you know that?
Jared Goff's a good player. I like Jared Goff.
I hate saying that.
I would put him on my underrated list, actually. I think people are
you think he's the most underrated quarterback in the NFC?
In the NFC, maybe. I think, look, I would encourage everybody that's listening right now, and I know I'm not begging you to go and watch a Lions game. I'm an Eagles fan too. I don't really care about the Lions. But when you watch the Lions game, watch Jared Goff and his ball placement. Talk about talent. He has some really good raw talent. And in Detroit, they figured out a way to make it work for them a little bit better than he could do in LA. I agree. He struggled in LA. Wasn't really the right fit for what McVay wanted to do.
Still got to a Super Bowl.
Still got to a Super Bowl, but wasn't exactly what McVay wanted in terms of his system.
True.
But I think Jared Goff is underrated by most people who watch the game. Even JM, who's saying he's a glorified game manager. JM, go watch some Jared Goff tape tonight and come back and tell me that. I really think you will change if you watch some of his tape with an open mind. He can sling the ball, man. He is a solid quarterback. If there's a tight window, he's probably a top 2 or 3 quarterback you would pick to fit it in the window. He's that accurate with the ball.
One last thing here. You think that Jamison Williams kid shows up this year, or do you think, again, he's just too – see, get this, Zander. I thought Devontae Smith was going to be like Jamison Williams, always banged up, like that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought so too.
I thought he was going to be that kind of player, and Devontae has – do you hear what Dotson said today about Devontae? He goes, man, one of the coolest things of all time is watching how Devontae avoids contact and how great he is in finding space.
Yeah. Devontae's tremendous, man. What
another bold prediction. You mean bottom 5, Fat Mac?
Fat Mac, I love it, brother. Keep him coming. Keep Sills on his toes because he is living in pessimism.
Fat Mac, it is going to be bottom 5 again, man. Come on here. The greatness of Orenthal Burks was added to the no-holes defense. There you go, baby. Hey, Zander, you doing anything special tonight or normal show as always?
Dan Holmes.
That's what my wife calls me.
Danny Holmes.
That's what my wife calls me.
Danny
Dan Holmes.
Why does your wife call you that? I don't even want to know, actually.
John Holmes. That's right.
No special shows tonight. We'll be back tomorrow morning on Birds 365. Good week of shows. Monday we'll have no full shows. We might do a couple hits because it's game week, so we don't want to completely go quiet there. But
he doesn't want to hide with the 45 the Packers are going to put on him. That's why.
45? You mean the Eagles are putting up 45?
Go ahead, continue.
I had the Eagles losing that game, remember, which is funny because when I do my prediction for the game, I'm having a hard time thinking the Packers win that game. Is it 15 wins? It's maybe possible.
40. I'm going to save it for next week, okay? I'm going to save it for next week. All right, so Birds 365 with John McMullen in the morning. Those guys do a fabulous job here. Eagles playing who?
Byron Young. I think he was an Alabama guy, wasn't he?
Who's Byron Young?
By the way, I hate to say this to you on the way out the door. No, he wasn't a Bama guy.
What position? What is he? Who is he?
I hate to say this to you, Sills, on the way out the door. Your Miami Hurricanes are going to get absolutely destroyed by the
Billy Napier's Gators.
Yep. Destroyed.
Here. Let me hook you up with something here.
Cristobal will be afraid to come back on the show.
They're going to go up to Gainesville, and they're not only going to kick that ass, then they're going to go into the Gainesville city and wreak and havoc. You'll think it looks like Tim Waltz's Minneapolis. And then they're going to come out of that and go back home with Gator girls down to South Florida because they have absolutely savaged Shitsville, Florida, also known AKA as Howie Roseman's second home, Gainesville, Florida. Miami's favored to win that thing. They're going to kick the fuck out of them Saturday in the Swamp. Remember I said that. 28-7. How you doing?
I'm waiting for the Canes to not stop being the Dallas Cowboys and maybe join us in the 21st century. You Miami,
right.
Over here, Miami.
It's
not 1985 anymore, Miami. Come on in.
This segment's over. I hate it. All right. Hey, Zander, I'll see you in the morning, man. Great stuff as always. Thank you guys so much. By the way, he comes in here and, you guys wave him in here. Please, Zander, say
211 likes. Appreciate everybody. See ya.
Yeah, whatever, guy. Thank you very much. Big Bad Sills. And really, really good guy. See, Xander's not – don't take that shit. Xander's not that good a guy. Okay? No. He's a good man. But, hey, we'll see when that team's 0-2. Shut up, Jay Brown. This is the world that Big Sills lives in. How you doing? Do me a favor. Where are we on the like list, guys? Hey, Jay Brown, that would be – respect the host, Jay Brown. Respect the host. Where are we on the like list? Guys, you guys are great. Dan, Vic had a top 5 defense in Miami that has to translate to Philly. 213. Come on, guys. Let's see if we can get that bad puppy up to at least 225 at the top of the hour. Don't forget Farzetta. is also going to join us as well. Sills, Byron Young played at Bama and Tennessee. He's a DT. Okay. I guess some of the guys you drafted, you need a little more depth there. There you go. Spare parts. Hey, no hold D. I call that thing the spare parts D. The Philadelphia spare parts defense. Another spare part. So that's a 29th guy you added. Holy cow. Hit the like button. They signed another dude. All right. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sills National Football Show. Listen, the only place, by the way, where you don't have to listen to the words is and are prepared by the Eagle Radio Network, also known as WIP. Did you even hear Nick Sirianni say, "Oh yeah, that's right, that ESP guy, you guys work for us." Oh God, it just gets funnier and funnier. It's the only place. Nick Sirianni actually went on a show and said, "Oh yeah, that's right, that ESPN guy, you work for us." I forgot. Holy cow, how you doing? Oh, by the way, somebody just tweeted this. And it's really wonderful. By the way, please hit the like button. You guys have been great. Listen to this. This is Rob here on my Twitter page here. Sileo is listen up, Zander, and all of you. You too, Joe. Stills is a truth teller. And the Hurts fanboys can't handle it. Kudos to JAKIB for not having 100% Eagles and Hurts PR drones on their network. Look at that. Truth, justice, and the Big Sills way. That's how we do shit here, baby. Farzetta. Okay, Farzetta will join us at 5:30. Sills learned how to make anonymous accounts. Let's just show you how much of a toolbox JM is. Folks, I can barely read. This guy thinks I know how to make fake accounts. Do I look like a guy that knows how to make fake accounts and sits in front of a screen like JM down in my mom's basement wearing my old lady's panties, eating a hot dog? I'll get him today. Do you think that, JM, come on, dog. Really? My house is bigger than yours. JM, there you go, baby. Fight back like a 10-year-old. As my boy Joe Krauss would say, I'll learn to punch up. I'm talking to JM from Passaic, New Jersey. Hey, JM from Passaic, New Jersey. That's like taking phone calls on IP. Hey, yeah, Bob Cherry Hill. How you doing? Go ahead. Yeah. Hey, Bob, go ahead. Hey, Upper Marlboro. Tim, go ahead. Go ahead. Holy cow. You guys are so, hey, right? Am I saying it right, Brian? There you go, man. Holy cow. Let's see. Twiz, you come big, Simps. Anytime, bro. Same for me. Go get him. I love James. James, your Washington Commanders are going to win the NFC East, so I'm there for you, brother. Okay? Look at Brian. How's your shoebox in New Jersey? Hey, go get your shine box, Brian. I should start saying that to people. Hey, Howie, you dropped that game against the Packers. Now go home and get your shine box. JM goes like this. You're literally in your basement. Actually, I'm literally at my bar. Michelob? Is that what you're looking for? Actually, at my bar, Junior. Dan, ever since Angelo left, WIP has become unlistenable. It seems like it's controlled by team. It is controlled by the team. How do you think Howard Eskin kept his job? He kept his job because the Eagles wanted him. That dude asking questions next to John McMullen is an insult. Honest to God. It's an insult. You think those guys like him there? Look, I'm not saying anybody should lose their gig. But people don't survive that unless a team backs you. So the Eagles backed the guy who was accused of sexual harassment. Whew. And so did Odyssey. Man, I said something stupid. You couldn't back me, but you backed a sexual harassment guy? He must have been really good on the air. Even though I got 10 shares. He must have been really good. Wait a minute. He's not on the air anymore except for weekends. Wow. Oh, that's right. He's a sideline guy. Forgot that. Big Rhythm. Look at Big Rhythm. Here we go. This is when you know you're a total Eagle fan. Sills. Brian Young was a third rounder. Now that Howie claimed him, his salary's tied to our cap. So he was cut. Okay? I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is. Okay. JM, I don't care. I have two friends in broadcasting right now, Joe Krauss and Zander. You know why? That's where I work. Everyone else are acquaintances. Friends. Let me tell you something. Joe Krauss and I hollering at each other. You should be on the phone for that one. That's quite a if he doesn't fire me here, I'll be here a while. I'm not kidding. If the guy doesn't fire me now, we're not getting fired. My wife goes like this: "You're too stupid to fire." And most of the time, when people start throwing shots at Big Sills, it's because they're failing in their own job. I pray everybody does a nice job. Honestly, I'm not praying for anybody on the air to fail. There's enough to go around. You've never heard me say, I hope that guy fails on the radio doing his job. I've never said that. I never will. Hope Tone does a great job in his life. Pulling for him. Want him to go further ahead. Absolutely. And nobody at JAKIB doesn't hope that either. Yeah, okay. I don't even know what you're talking about, actually. Okay? I have no idea what you're even talking about. All right. We're going to reset at the top. Farzetta's going to join us. I got something in here else. Okay, here we go. Yeah, here. So I want to go back to one topic about Carson Wentz. So Jalen Hurts is taking shots at Jason Kelce. What do you make of that? Are you going to give him a pass for taking shots at Jason Kelce? You're not going to get the same coverage from people in Philly because they don't want to say anything about Jason Kelce. Jalen Hurts was taking shots, or Jalen Hurts took a shot at Jason Kelce. Took a shot at him. What do you make of that? Said that, in my opinion, that one of the reasons why his lack of development was because the offensive center took it out of the quarter. They did the same shit to Carson Wentz. Is Kelce the reason that Wentz failed? Now, look at me and JM here. JM brings something up. And JM, I want to show you something here. You're not really indicting Hurts on anything except this comment. How about this, JM? Hurts can be great at every single thing else in his career, but taking accountability on his own failures. Remember what he also said about the coordinators constantly being changed out? Now he's saying that one of the reasons I didn't develop last year was because Kelce was calling the blocking assignments. Okay? Let's try to stay focused, dude. What do you make of your quarterback not taking accountability for his own failures last year? What do you make of that? Is that the first? William goes like this. Well, he said last year we had a really great player in Jason Kelce. But quite frankly, I was told when I first got here not to worry about blocking assignments and pass protection. That'd be left to someone else. Now I'm going to have a chance, actually, to do it myself. And to me, I actually think it hindered me a little bit last year. You don't think that's a slap in the face to Jason Kelce? You guys don't want to hear the truth ever. Why is that? This is an accountability program too at times. When you go and you're like you're an alcoholic and you go to like Alcoholics Anonymous and you have to sit here and you have to hear some things that you might not want. Hurts is an excuse maker. You can't blame Kelce. Why would you even bring that up? Get this. Folks, do you think that was a reach? What Jalen said today? Do you think that was a reach? Do you? Think that was a reach? Huh? How come no one else but you thinks that there, Taylor? Huh? Suplex thinks it's a reach. Shit, ESPN just picked that up. Jalen Hurts, new story came out just an hour ago. Jalen Hurts says he was told not to worry about a lot of things with respect to pass protections in the past because of the presence of Kelce, and that his eagerness to learn was halted. Get this. Senor's now saying it. So let me read you an ESPN storyline and quotes from Jalen Hurts. Where, let me see here. Let's see. Here we go. Senor says that, okay. No, but Senor, there's quotes from Hurts. Jalen Hurts says, quote, it told me not to worry about a lot of things with respect to pass protection in the past because of the presence of Kelce, and that his eagerness and my eagerness to learn was halted. As a result, the Eagle quarterback goes on to say they are changing that now. I think in the end, when you look at this upcoming season that you have seen in years past, it's just different anatomy of what we're doing and where we are in places now. Hurts told WIP this today. He had a great player in Kelce who took a lot of responsibility, and a result of that, I was told not to worry about things. And so my eagerness to learn over the years was stunted and halted. End of quote. They're quotes. They're quotes. These are taken from a live interview. It's not gossip. Get this. Get this. Lie. They're quotes from an interview on a radio station this morning. Okay? He says, okay, Ann. So Jalen Hurts not taking accountability for his failures and blaming the fact that he couldn't pick up blitzes last year. He's blaming it on Kelce. How do you feel about that? Hurts has no excuses, in my opinions. The Eagles will wench him if he doesn't perform. No, you mean exactly how they coached Carson Wentz, too. Okay? Oh, no. Absolutely. I'm not saying I don't agree with Jalen. How are you going to grow a quarterback when the quarterback, think about, no. I think he did. I'm not saying he's wrong. He's publicly going after him, though, setting an excuse up for last year on his failures and blaming a guy who's not in the building. Get this. It's not misleading news. It's an interview he did on a radio station in Philly. His own words are there. It's not misrepresenting him. I read you exactly the fucking quotes. You can say what you want. Jay Brown, you're lying. You're covering for a guy who didn't want to take responsibility for his own failures. You can say whatever you want. His own words are now out there in the ether. Okay? How do you know? Get this. They did the same shit to Wentz. Kelsey, what's the two common denominators on quarterbacks who couldn't pick up blitzes? Jason Kelsey. Wentz struggled with blitzes, and so did Jalen. Facts. How in the world can you, as a quarterback, not know where pressure's coming from? That's how you learn. What was the one thing that stopped Tom Brady? Internal pressure. Inside pressure. Okay? I agree with you. It's a shot, but a necessary shot. Get this. So that interview never happened, Busy? He's saying that interview never happened on WIP, and that CBS, Fox, ESPN, all have picked the story up now that Hurts said that he was hindered and held back because he was told not to handle the blocking assignments, and that was Kelsey. All you got to do is Google it. And there are quotes from him. He's blaming Jason Kelsey for his 2023 failures. Hey, man, I always heard when things are going bad, you don't look for a life preserver to throw your coach under a bus or a player or a teammate under the bus. You throw yourself under the bus. Hey, that's on me. I got to do a better job of seeing the blitzes. Instead, he threw Kelsey under the bus. That's a shitty thing. That's a shitty thing. That's a shit thing. By the way, hey, Eagle PR made sure that got out there too. Way to go, Bob Lang. Bob Lang is telling you that Jalen from a year ago failed. That story gets out because the Eagles want that story out. That Jason Kelsey was at fault and that his development as a quarterback was stunted by a Hall of Fame center. They don't have any shame. They shamed Deshaun Jackson before, and they shamed Shady McCoy before. Now they're kissing their ass and falling to their knees, putting them in the Hall of Fame after the fact. These guys are classic. That PR department's quite a propaganda machine. All Jalen had to do is just let this go. Why are you bringing something up that doesn't matter? And I agree with that. Okay? I agree. Okay, Forrest, what's the point of bringing it up now? What's the point? Why don't you just let that go away? I saw Hurts in a press conference the other day, someone talking to him about, Wink Martindale, and he goes, hey, I'm moving forward. Where are we going? Why would you bring that up about you not sitting here and going after Jason Kelsey now on August 29th, a week before the Packer game? Why? What's the point? What's the point of that? Hook me up and help me out on this one. By the way, who said that in here? Sills. Was that you, Brian, that said that? Brian, was that you that said that? Hey, Sills, is he wrong? No. No. Hey, always know this, Brian. The point is, I hate when people say, shut up and do what I say. Brian, always remember this. When someone tells you to shut up or something like that comment, know you're saying the right thing. Know you're saying the right thing. This is quite a deal here. A week and a day out from playing the Packers. You got Jalen Hurts taking a shit on Jason Kelsey. Has Jalen ever taken accountability for his failure of a year ago and his nuclear meltdown and his game against the Pack or the Buccaneers? Has he ever said anything like that? No. He doesn't take any responsibility for any of that last year. He's never backed his coach. He's never taken accountability. We'll see. I think there's a character something here with that. You know why? I have a huge problem with this. This is unnecessary noise. This is unnecessary noise. You don't need this. That team doesn't need that. It's another question that will be by the way, the Philly media won't ask because Bob will shut your ass down in a minute and either call Joe Krause or call up Odyssey to shut them guys down. Shit, they can't even talk about their own failures over at IP. Do you think they're going to talk about something like this? Absolutely not. Hurts is very deliberate in what he says and doesn't say. It's not a reach to analyze its meaning. JM, he doesn't say shit just to say it. That doesn't strike me as a guy who does that stuff. Okay? Who gives a shit what Jalen says? Dude is a great character guy. Media spins everything. How do you spin something when you read quotes? How are you spinning? How am I spinning that he says that he was stunted in his development as a quarterback? How is that spinning? Spinning is coming up with something going, well, this is what I think he said. When you have direct quotes from the guy, then a Slagger, I'll once again read you his exact quotes that were quoted in an interview that he did this morning on WIP. Here's the people trying. What are you, Kamala Harris? I mean, honest to God. I mean, it's there. Okay, here. He said this. Okay, here. Jalen Hurts says he was told not to worry about a lot of things with respect to pass protection. In past seasons, the presence of the center, Jason Kelce, that is eagerness to learn, and my eagerness to learn was halted. As a result, Eagle quarterback said, they're changing things now, and we're taking more control of the line of scrimmage. I think in the end, when you look at the upcoming season and you've seen where we've been in the past, it's going to be completely different, Hurts told WIP. We had a great player in Kelce who took on a lot of responsibility as a result. I was told not to worry about anything pass protection, worry about anything at all. And it absolutely, and so my eagerness to learn over the years kind of was halted because of who we had. But now times are different. I'm excited for the journey and the opportunity to take more control of the offense. He's basically telling you there that just like any quarterback, you have to learn where pressure's coming from. You got to learn where pressure's coming from. Tell you what, Farzetta's going to be on with us at the bottom of the hour. We're going to get his take on that too. It's a shot at Jason Kelce. But again, one more time, like Brian says, hey, he's not wrong. But why on August 29th? 8 days out before you play the Packers. All right, guys. Please hit the like button. We appreciate you guys. Mark Farzetta is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sills National Football Show. Here's what I just tweeted out. Eagle quarterback Jalen Hurts says that Jason Kelce stunted his growth as a quarterback by having too much control over blocking assignments. True or false? Hey. Woo! That team is going to be so fun to cover. It is going to be, without a doubt, so much fun to cover. Oh, my God. And our people, this coming football season, you're either going to be coming for Big Sills or agreeing with Big Sills. See, unlike the other shows, there's no gray area. At least I have an opinion. I'm not going to sit in the middle and sit on a fence like everybody else does. Hey, James. Is that a proper tweet? Just to be, just to make sure we're right here. James, is that kind of the right tweet here? Let's see here. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts says that Jason Kelce stunted his growth as a quarterback by having too much control over blocking assignments. James, do you agree with that? Do you agree with that? Huh? It's a possibility it's never been mentioned. Of course it's never been mentioned. Kelce's a great player. But by the way, he's not wrong. Okay? And by the way, Nick, and plus he was coached by his dad. I think Jalen has too much pride sometimes. It's hard for him to take accountability, but could be wrong. But Jalen will have to prove that he can handle the blitz calls now. Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt. Hey, so Jalen's going to be setting the pass protection, new offense, new coordinator, new center. Man, this is going to be the biggest year of his career. Hey, you're right. I'm either going to look like a donkey or I'm going to look like the smartest person in Philadelphia since Ben Franklin. Woo! How you doing? I'm going to be the smartest guy either Hey, I'm going to be the smartest guy in Philadelphia since Ben Franklin, if I'm right on this. Sells, you're stirring the pot. How about, wait a minute. I didn't do the interview. How am I stirring the pot? I didn't do the interview. I didn't make those quotes. I didn't say those quotes. What are you talking about? Whoa, man. Holy cow. Here's Howie today, too. By the way, King Roseman was on today. I'm sure they'll be calling my boss on that one, making up some bullshit. Let's see here. Howie Roseman says, the goal is for us to win the Super Bowl. And that's our number one goal always. Well, I got it. You're right. And that's our mindset. Okay. Brian goes, Dan, hey, Brian, you know what they don't like? When you have quotes. Okay? When you have quotes. Now, see, Chuck's starting to know a little bit. Hey, Sills, you know, you hate the guy because he's a Gator. That could be. Hey, Chuck, maybe I'm not gonna lie to you a little bit. Maybe a little bit. It's Gator week, too. What do you want me to do? There's a lot of pressure on Jalen. Learning new offense protections. Call, score 30 points a game. Keep team going until defense can catch. A lot. You're right, Troy. Okay? Are you kidding me? I'm one of the happiest men on the planet. And get this, Mr. Perez. I've never wished to be anybody but Big Cells. I don't go to sleep at night. Man, I wish I had that. No, I'm very glad to be me. Very glad. Get this. Look at this. I actually like the quote on Kelsey. That's because you know he's not wrong. Hey, but remember something, Brian. Can't talk shit on Jason Kelsey. Because you know people in Philly, they protect these guys. And some guys sometimes. By the way, I don't believe that's a Jason Kelsey issue. I think that's a front office issue. Okay? I think that's a front office issue. I don't think that is Kelsey going, hey, I'll tell you what, Jalen, because I don't think you're ready to take on pass protections. I'm going to do it. I don't think that went down like that. Hey, by the way, also, how much did Stoutland have to say in that? You think Jeff Stoutland had any say in that too? I wonder what the relationship is with Jalen Hurts and Jeff Stoutland. Because it was Stoutland and Kelsey making the pass protection plays. That meant Stoutland had say in blitz pickups. I wonder what that relationship is. Has anyone ever asked, hey, Jalen, what's your relationship with Jeff Stoutland? I guarantee you want to hear how he would answer that? Why? And that's when you know you got him. Because why? Think about this. Well, there's only two people that were in charge of blitz pickup. Once again, Senor, I'm on my show. How am I trolling people when I'm on my show? You troll people when you're other places. I'm on my show. How would that? I don't know how that trolling stuff works. I'm doing a show. I'm not posting anything. I'm stirring the pot. Well, let's do this. Senor, let me ask you a question here. If Jason Kelsey was in charge of pass protections the last 7 years, do you think his offensive line coach had a say in it? Yes or no? You think he had a say in it? He's the run coordinator too. And you hear what Kellen says. He handles the run. Nick, get this. Nick, get this. Jeff Stoutland is Jason Kelsey's boss. How about this? It's not a report. It's an interview. Get this. This is not a report. It's an interview he did. Go listen to it. It's an interview. It's not a report. Mr. Perez, nobody put this out there. He said it. This is not a report, folks. These are quotes from the quarterback of the Eagles. Perez is making it sound like, hey, Stills is making this report up. That's not true. No, I'm reading his quotes. Dude, I'm not going to debate any longer what he said because it's there. Get this. This is not the point. Hurts' the reasoning that he was like third to the worst in pass protection and blitzing was because of the O-line protection, Jeff Stoutland and Jason Kelce, who had control of it. That's right, Abe. Abe is dead on. He's dead on. Stoutland is the eyes and mouth of the O-line, so nobody has word over that. He was totally responsible with Kelce for pass protection. Okay? Totally responsible. And you know why he's still here? Because the organization gave Jeff Stoutland. By the way, I gave him all kinds of kudos today. He's a freaking exceptional coach. Hurts is the one trying to make excuses for the failures he had a year ago. And he's throwing Kelce and Stoutland under a bus because it didn't help him grow as a quarterback. Get this. So you think the O-line blocking is Jalen's fault? No. No. I think the organization did this the same way they did the Wentz, they did the Hurts a year ago. So when they say they got in the way of guess what they did? They got in the way of blitz coverage and blitz pickup and protection. They fired a coordinator halfway through the season a year ago, and Sirianni was influencing the offensive play calling. Hey, man, organization right on top of their P's and Q's in 23. Holy shit, I hope that shit's resolved. And you still got a quarterback 8 days out going into a Packer game in Brazil, talking shit on a Hall of Fame center and a Hall of Fame coach. Hey, man, sounds like it's working. Richard, that's not the point, Richard. Richard, why would you keep this narrative going? Is this really? Boy, I'll tell you what, I hate that. Get this. This is the same PR department that even will go so petty to call my bosses. You don't put that, right? Hey, Joe, you don't put that beneath that PR department to put that story out? No way. I believe 100% they'd put that story out. Absolutely. Sills, it's true. How can you not say it's the O-line's fault when blocking is their job? Okay? Jalen is to distribute the ball and the O-line protect. That's how it works. So the O-line is on thin ice this season. You know what I said too, Abe? I never thought that the Eagle offensive line were great pass protectors. I thought they were dominant run blockers. That's why the RPO was sensational. And by the way, this is the same O-line that was in that 4-win season. I mean, okay, kind of, right? So, you're talking about now, Landon obviously has been an upgrade big time, and so is Mulata, no question. By the way, guys, one more time. You know what's great to read over here? Go listen to the interview. I listened to it in the timeout. These aren't quote. These aren't reports. He said it. Hey, Brian, isn't it funny? Listen to VJ here. Hey, Brian, he said I made that up. He said I made that up, Brian. said I made it up. A quote from the quarterback. Every lineman wants to run the ball. Yes, they do. They want to maul defenders, not step backwards to protect. Absolutely. Pass protecting. Hey, dude, you ask an old lineman anytime. And by the way, running the ball, you win. How many times do you ever see teams lose games when you run the ball for 200 yards? I've seen teams lose games when you throw for 500 yards. You don't lose ball games when you're running the ball for 200 yards. So every news outlet's lying. And the interview that Hurts did, right, Perez? You didn't hear it. Okay, Kamala. Okay. I'm glad Jalen has control, like every other quarterback. Get this, Richard. The number one thing that helps a quarterback learn how to protect himself is identifying blitz pickup. So for 3 years of Jalen Hurts not seeing and reading defenses, can I make this proclamation to you, Richard? Remember how I said Jalen Hurts can't read a defense? Now I know why. He barely knows where the blitz is coming from. How can you be a good progression reader when you can't even figure out the blitz pickup? You can't pick up a blitz pickup, and there's no way you can do progression reading. Is it Kelsey's fault? No, it's the organization's fault for not allowing him to be matured in the right way. By the way, Shane Steichen didn't have to do that in RPO. You don't have to have that in RPO when it comes to blocking assignments. I don't blame Kelsey. Jalen blamed Kelsey and Stoutland and the organization for why he sucked last year. Okay? Hey, I 100% promise you, Creed Humphrey's not calling blocking assignments. I couldn't wait to get Mark Farzetta on here because I'll tell you what you're going to get here with Big Sills here, you're going to get the truth here now. And I'm going to ask you this right out of the gate before we get to some of this other stuff here. And I'm going to go to Farzy here, and I'm going to read these quotes here one more time from Jalen Hurts today on pass protection. And with, hey, Farzy, how you doing, brother?
Good, brother. Good to see you.
So I'm going to read this to you, and you tell me what you think of this. This was from a WIP interview that Jalen Hurts did this morning. And now ESPN, CBS, Fox have picked this up, and you tell me what your takeaway is. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to pollute it with my take here, which I love to do.
Oh,
but
yeah?
let me read this to you.
You're not going to finesse a word or two on me, are you?
I think I've already done it.
Okay, fair enough. So, yeah, you've kind of set it up already.
I kind of set it up already a little bit here. Okay.
I'm going to forget all that. Completely unbiased. I'm ready to hear it. Oh, there you go. Okay.
I just took one of the stories from ESPN, okay?
Okay.
This is 3 hours ago. Jalen Hurts says he was told not to worry about a lot of things with respect to pass protection and past seasons because of the presence of Jason Kelsey, and that his eagerness to learn was halted. As a result, the Eagle quarterback said things are changing now. Then you go down here. Kelsey served as the maestro up front for 13 years. And his comments were said to be here. And this was on 94, as I said. I think in the end, when you look up at the upcoming season, things will be different. Hurts told 94.1 WIP, we had a great player in Kelsey who took a lot of responsibility as a result of that. I was told not to have to worry about it. And so my eagerness to learn and my eagerness to understand offenses was halted.
So I did see some of that quote before. My question is, halted by who? Is it
organization?
Was it by himself? Oh, okay, so was it Nick Sirianni telling him, you don't need to worry about it? Was it Shane Steichen being like, you don't need to worry about that's for Jason, Or was it Jalen Hurts saying, you know what? I have a Hall of Fame center in front of me. I'm just going to follow his lead and try not to interfere with whatever could be developing in front of me. I would assume it's the organization telling him, don't even worry about it. Jason has that. I heard Jason Kelce in an interview a couple of months ago, and it's funny that it wasn't two sports guys. It was actually Dana Carvey and David Spade. I bet your listeners and viewers didn't have that in their bingo card, on their bingo card, to hear those two names in this interview. But those guys obviously aren't sports guys. And I was listening to the interview because I enjoyed both those guys in their careers. And they had Jason Kelce on, so I wanted to hear Jason Kelce get interviewed by these two guys. And I have heard from media members years ago, some of the older school guys, that will often ask the dumbest question just because a lot of times it gets the most interesting answer. And Dana Carvey asked a question about who has final say in pass protection. And he asked that question about, at first I was impressed that Dana Carvey would even ask that question. And Jason Kelce said, well, it's always the quarterback. But I've been around a long time. So Jalen does listen to me a lot. Like, I'm the one making the call at the line of scrimmage. If Jalen sees something different, then obviously, as a center, I'm not going to overrule the quarterback. I'm going to let him, who might have a better last-second view, alter the play or alter where the protection could be, or tell us where the blitz is coming from, whatever the case might be. So I thought that was interesting that Jason was as open to, from a Hall of Fame career already in the books. He later announced his retirement.
It's little criticism too.
Yeah, it is. And he said that, yeah, look, but he made it general, talking about any quarterback, that it's always going to be the quarterback who's going to make that decision. But what I took away from it was even a conversation. That's what I took away from it. And for Jalen Hurts, one of the things I've been concerned about, I know you and I have talked about his development in the past and about his receivers, and I'm not going to fault him for having good weapons, but this is something that he has to control. And one of the things that I love about Jalen Hurts' mindset and all this guy called Wink Martindale. And I know some people took it negatively and said, well, he dimed out his own coaches. It's like, well, hold on a second. His coaches aren't playing him for the same kind of stakes that Wink Martindale is playing for him or playing against him. So I like the idea that he reached out and he's trying to get a better understanding, because he does know what's in front of him now, especially in a world without Jason Kelce. And he knew, even though at the time that he called Wink Martindale, he didn't know Jason Kelce for sure was retiring, because he did it leading up to the Tampa game in the playoffs.
Yep.
But he knows what's in front of him. This is a tall order, and it literally is the biggest concern I have. And this is the biggest concern I've been talking about for quite some time with this Eagles team, because I've told you many times, this is a year of no excuses. Like, I don't want to hear about, it takes a while to learn Kellen Moore's scheme. He needs 2 years in the system. Guess what? A quick learning curve here is to have the wide receiving core that you have, Saquon Barkley being in your backfield. That's all going to expedite the process of you being good in a new system in your first year of being in that new system. My only legit concern is the mental aspect of the game and the communication between center and quarterback, because I know Cam Jurgens can go out there tomorrow and he could run upfield. He could get 15 yards upfield and make a block for a running back 10 yards behind him. He could do all that. He could get off the ball that quick. I don't know how well he could read, shift, and communicate the protection to his quarterback in the same type of efficiency that Jason Kelce did. And I don't know what that looks like yet, because I haven't seen it, which would have been great for a series or two in the preseason to at least get that opportunity for Jalen to have that communication with his offensive coordinator, have that communication with his center. And to me, that's the only true concern I have going into this season, is what it's going to look like in terms of picking up the blitz with a quarterback that struggled mightily against it, with a essentially rookie center, not a rookie offensive lineman, but rookie center in Cam Jurgens.
Did you take it as a shot at Kelce, or did you take it more as a deflecting responsibility that Hurts didn't take last year? Because here we're August 29th. We're 8 days out from the start of the season against the Packers. Awful weird for a guy that's not in the building that a story would come out and say, hey, I regressed a little bit, and I used that word, and I did, okay, because blocking assignments were handled by someone else. And everyone knows how you teach a quarterback how to read defenses. First thing you got to do is pick up where pressure's coming from. You don't know where pressure's coming from. How can you read a defense? Because the first thing you're looking for is pressure. Mm-hmm. You see what they did? They took the number one asset on helping quarterbacks read defenses, identifying where pressure's coming from. There's no way I've been saying he can't read a defense. Now I know why. Because he couldn't identify the blitzing. So now he came out and said this. Well, that's a whole different world now. So now I'm going to be able to look at it, and it's more on him. But then again, you're paying him $50 million plus, Mark. That should be on him. And so I took it like this, like, wow, you took a shot on a Hall of Fame center, or you took a shot at the management, because let's face it, you did the same shit to Wentz. Because if you did it to Hurts, you did the same shit to Wentz. And who do I look like to you? We're going to play a little charades here. Sack. Sack. Holding the ball too long because why, Mark? Both quarterbacks couldn't identify pressure. I mean, I think it's a really weird comment. I thought they had outrun this. It's August 29th. Why?
Yeah. So this comment also reminds me of why they made the drastic changes that they made. This is, for me, this isn't a shot against Jason Kelce. I don't think Jalen Hurts is taking shots at Jason Kelce. This is a Nick Sirianni thing. I mean, that's what that's not going to happen.
Oh, you think this was the rub?
Oh, absolutely. Like,
okay,
for me, I don't think Jalen Hurts is out there trying to make sure that Jason Kelce is catching strays somewhere. You know what I mean?
No. I think you're right on this, but wait, get this one too and add this in.
Okay.
Well, what do you think his relationship then is with Jeff Stoutland? Because I would ask you this. Wasn't Stoutland and Kelce then, if those guys were in charge of the run control game and also pass protection, those two guys held it the last 3 years, the identifying of pressure coming up. You think his relationship with Jeff Stoutland is cool? I mean, Kelce and Stoutland work together. How about this? It's a weird story right now for August 29th.
My take on it is this. Jeff Stoutland knows his role. And Jeff Stoutland literally has laughed at the idea of him being more involved with the Eagles, even to the point of calling plays. Like, I forget who it was, and I don't want to guess, but it was one of the beat writers that asked him in a press conference last year, with all the stuff hitting the fan with Brian Johnson. He was asked, have you ever thought about wanting to, call plays? Have you ever? And he just laughed his ass off. He was like, I am not giving you guys the fodder for that even a little bit. So I don't think he's overstepping. I don't think he's telling Jalen Hurts anything. I don't think that's Jalen Hurts taking a shot at Jeff Stoutland. To me, this comes down to Nick Sirianni and why he has been demoted time and time again in responsibility, but not title. This is about Nick Sirianni telling the quarterback, don't worry about that because Jason's got it. So that's more about, I think, the offensive coaching staff than it is about Jalen Hurts. And here's why that is, obviously, here's why that's dumb. Was Jason Kelce going to play longer in the NFL than Jalen Hurts? I mean, nope. I think anyone who could add years of age understands that Jalen Hurts was going to have a career after Jason Kelce. So why wouldn't you, especially as a franchise quarterback, nurture that along and give him more responsibility and explain more things to him? Like, I would hope that Jalen Hurts and Jeff Stoutland, or at least Jalen Hurts is reaching out to Jeff Stoutland, because I don't think Stout is in a position to, again, overstep, go outside his realm without Jalen Hurts knocking on his door. So I take this more as an indictment on the overall head coach. I take that on Nick Sirianni and how he handled things in the past with Jalen Hurts. Like, don't get me wrong. Is it smart to have a younger quarterback I don't know, what's the word? Take a back seat to what a Hall of Fame center is doing? Yeah, that kind of makes sense. But you also have to be learning along the way if you're Jalen Hurts. And if the organization, if Nick Sirianni is telling Jalen Hurts, don't worry about it, you'll learn it some other time, that doesn't make any damn sense. And it only goes into the very deep, very overflowing bucket of why Nick Sirianni is now an assistant to the regional manager head coach, as opposed to even a CEO head coach or a play caller or offensive coordinator.
Can you believe it, Farzy? Now, in his 5th year, he's going to, for the first time, have responsibility on pass protection as a quarterback.
Yeah.
You've been in the league 5 years, 4 as a starter. And this is how you develop him?
That is a huge oversight, to say the least, by this Eagles team. I think that's why you made all the change. That's why you made all the change. Look, if he wasn't as mobile a quarterback as he is, this would be a wildly huge concern. But the fact that he can evade, he can get out. And hopefully in this offseason, with the help of Kellen Moore and the ball being distributed around the line of scrimmage, more so allegedly throughout camp than it ever has been. I think here's one thing I'll tell you as far as that goes, and get rid of the ball quick and reading what's in front of you. If it's not there, if you don't feel comfortable, it might be what John Harbaugh did with Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick back in the day, which is, hey, man, one read. If it's not there, Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh, if it's not there, one read, go. Jalen Hurts having running backs like Saquon Barkley and having an offensive coordinator like Kellen Moore, I think will very much help the sack issue, the blitz coverage, and all that stuff throughout the year. Because I think what's going to end up taking a hit is the tight end spot, which I think is also telling that originally they only kept 2 tight ends. They have a very good running back room. All 3 of the guys there can catch the ball and take it 20 yards. The home run play could be a dump off. And I love seeing the motion that you saw in the preseason and all that stuff. And that shouldn't be as groundbreaking to the average football fan. But for Eagles fans, seeing that used even in the preseason is like, all right, this is refreshing. But with Jalen Hurts, I think one of the biggest things you're going to see throughout this season as far as a difference is getting rid of the football. It might not be to Devontae Smith 15 yards down the field or A.J. Brown 30 yards down the field. It might be to Saquon Barkley right at the line of scrimmage or in the flat on a screen to help evade that blitz. Because, look, even if Cam Jurgens steps in there and he has great communication with his quarterback and his quarterback understands everything that's in front of him, there's still going to be time where he's going to have to learn, process, and be efficient with getting rid of the football after he reads what the defense is doing. So for me, I look at it like this. One of the reasons the Eagles brought in the talent that they did, especially in Saquon Barkley, is that there's an easy guy to check down to and get rid of the football. Because one of the problems with Jalen was that he hated doing that and apparently was never really coached to do it under Nick Sirianni.
Let's move off that crazy-ass story here to this one. Your take on Jahan Dotson being added to the football team, just a little bit here on that. I mean, you trade in the division, 18 months, you quit on the kid. Now, Farzy just buried the lead. I actually like the deal because of what they're asking him to do. You're not asking him to be a 2. You're not asking him to be remotely even close to a 1. Is it a mismatch in the 3 hole in a position you need to upgrade? I thought it was a good ad. Did you think it was a good ad?
I thought it was a great ad. I mean, you've been stacked in the skills positions here, offensively speaking, stacked. And
is this the best talent you've ever seen on an Eagle roster in your time covering the team?
Position by position, the skilled positions, absolutely. I mean, everywhere you see, if not Pro Bowl, if not a Pro Bowler or All Pro, you see that talent. Like I think Dallas Goedert is a Pro Bowl talent. I think he's one of the best tight ends in football. He hasn't stayed healthy enough to be able to prove that. And that's obviously a huge concern. It's the difference between being a Pro Bowler, being an All-Pro, and then having that kind of talent. It's like you talk about in baseball, Chase Utley's got Hall of Fame talent. Don't know if he'll ever get in the Hall of Fame because of injury. You got the talent, you just can't stay healthy. And I think that's a big problem with Dallas Goedert. But like I go back to that 2017, 2018 team that won the Super Bowl, obviously. The talent from number 1 to 53 was incredible. I mean, think about the guys that won that Super Bowl. You won that with a lot of backups in that situation.
Best combo, Farzy, best combo of O-line, D-line.
Exactly.
Super Bowl was one of the great. That to me was the benchmark of that 17 team. Was that I don't think I've ever seen a better combination. Maybe those Cowboy teams back in the early 90s that had that combination where you had Haley and you had, Nate Newton and all them dudes over there in Dallas, where you had that in 17. Because that was a pretty damn good combo. That's how you beat the Patriots, because of those 2 fronts you had.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This for me, absolutely. In terms of starting 11, definitely, without question, the best talent I've ever seen assembled by this Philadelphia Eagles squad. And Jahan Dotson being your 3rd wide receiver. I mean, let's talk about this as well. You talk about a mismatch at the position of, being in the slot, being a number 3 wide receiver, whatever the case might be. Again, we're going to have to get used to, as Eagles fans, that motion is a thing in the NFL.
It's a good thing, too.
It's a great thing. And listen to Nick Sirianni last year talking about, motion. You don't need it. And then they bring in Kellen Moore. It's like, love motion. Motion's great. With this Eagles team that I find so fascinating is even watching it in the preseason, I kept on thinking of Jalen Hurts talking about the 95% different. Okay, it's 95% different. let's think about this for a second. What exactly does that mean? Was Chip Kelly 95% different than Andy Reid? Like, even Chip Kelly, was that 95% different? It was very different. I don't know if 95, but watching motion is like, for me, with this offense and Jalen Hurts, it's like watching the read option all of a sudden, with Sam Bradford of all people, watching it with even Nick Foles, watching that. Then the aggravating thing is of watching them run the read option in goal line, which is just beyond stupid. But there's things like that I watched and I was like, wow, that's like foreign to me. I'm having a very similar vibe just when I watch an Eagles player go in. The Will Shipley touchdown against the Ravens, my mind was blown. I couldn't. Oh my goodness! Aeneas Smith with his touchdown reception as well for 2-point conversion. I think it was against the Ravens. That to me is like, wow, they could actually do that this year. It only took getting the brakes beaten off of you by the Chiefs in the Super Bowl using motion. Then it took you another year to realize, oh, this is a good idea. Maybe we should do this. So that for me, I think you talk about that 95% different. If that's just a motion offense, or if that's him picking up or using motion in your offensive play calling, if that's just him picking that up as well as picking up the blitz and understand where it's coming from and the pressure and communicating with the center, then I don't think that's 95%. Doesn't sound like it to me. It sounds like an increase in workload, but it doesn't sound nearly as drastic a difference as Jalen Hurts originally pointed out.
Final question for you here. Let me start it here. 2 parts to this. That 2017 Super Bowl. Am I wrong when I say I give 80% of that Super Bowl to Doug Peterson and 20% to Howie? And my reasoning is this. I think you lost a linebacker, starting linebacker. I think you lost a starting guard. I think you lost a starting left tackle. And you lost an MVP candidate. And Doug carried him across the finish line to win the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback who beat Belichick and Brady. So I'm giving Howie 20% and Doug 80%. And you can answer it short here because I want to ask the question here, but I wanted to set it up that way. Where are you in that? Because I think without Doug, because Doug was the reason you didn't win in 22 because of coaching.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I would answer it like this. I would agree with your assessment. I might shift a little bit more towards Howie because literally, again, that roster was so deep.
The LeGarrette Blount. Okay, those were and the Chris Long deal. Those were big. I get it.
Those were all home runs. Those were all home runs. But the thing, and I'll include Doug Peterson in this, even though, and I know this could kind of be a controversial topic, but it's like, I think really, really good coaches know when to get out of the way. And I think it takes a player's mentality, like Doug Peterson has, to understand Malcolm Jenkins has this. Malcolm, we all we need. When that was said in the locker room in Los Angeles after the Eagles lost Carson Wentz for the rest of the season, and Malcolm Jenkins was like, "Yeah, screw that, man. We got this. We're all we got. We are all we got. We're all we need." That for a coach to just let his players be the leaders and know how to nurture that along the way. That's something that I think Doug Peterson doesn't get enough credit for. I go back even before the year before they won the Super Bowl. They had Carson Wentz throw something, I think it was like 63 times against the Cincinnati Bengals. And after the game, Doug Peterson came out and questioned the heart of his team. Questioned the heart of his team. The next time they were all at the NovaCare Complex that following Monday or that following Tuesday, there was a coaches meeting with players meeting. There was a big team meeting that went down. And Doug Peterson said, the red carpet is out. Everybody got something to say. You're welcome to say it. And everyone called everybody out. And at the end of it, it was like, all right, they aired the grievances and they just went on with the rest of the season. I said to myself, if that was Reid, if that was even Chip Kelly, which it would never happen because Chip didn't give a damn about what anybody else thought. If that was anybody else other than Doug Peterson, that would have blown up. But Doug knew how to roll with it. He was humble enough to listen, take his players' advice, and understand that the players in that locker room, just like when he played, they wanted to feel like they were running the show. And Doug got out of the way enough to make sure that those players felt like they were running the show and they were policing themselves. And not only that, motivating themselves. Also, the cojones on Doug Peterson to say to Nick Foles, yeah, let's run the play where my quarterback catches the ball. Sure. Like, I agree with you. I know Doug always gets credit for that play, but it was called by Nick. But to still say, yeah, let's do it. Why not, man? Have at it.
Okay. The reason I asked that is this. Do you think Howie Roseman, to validate his potential Eagle Hall of Fame career, needs to win another Super Bowl? Because at the end of the day, let's put it here. A lot of people are going to look at that as Doug. And the 2022 failure was because you know how to build a team, but you don't know how to build a coaching staff. You've had 8 coordinators in the last 3 years or 4 years on both sides of the football changed out. His struggles come in coordinators and in coaching hires. And you'll go, wait, he's got Gannon and Shane Steichen. Yeah, well, there's also a ton of failures in there. So, I mean, he's either hit or miss. So, I mean, how important would another Super Bowl be to Howie?
Incredibly important. But how many Super Bowls did the Eagles win before Howie Roseman?
You mean Doug?
No, I mean Howie.
You mean Doug? You mean yeah, right. So yeah, right. You land on Howie. I land on Doug. And
no. I don't disagree. But I mean, if you're talking about it from Jeffrey Lurie's perspective, I mean, obviously Howie is a surefire Hall of Famer as far as the Eagles go. I had no question. But I look at it like this: as much as I do love bringing in Doug Peterson and knowing that was Jeffrey Lurie making sure that somebody was emotionally intelligent enough to to take the job. Still can't believe an owner said that, but all right. He brings back Howie Roseman. This franchise, like Doug was on nobody's short list. They might have talked to him because he met Andy Reid, or obviously coached under Andy Reid, but he was on nobody's short list. Like, oh, we got to get Doug Peterson. It's a little bit more than Nick Sirianni, who again was on nobody's short list. They brought in Doug because Andy said you should probably hire Doug. So they brought in Doug. This team, this franchise, I should say, was destined for maybe the next 5 or 6 years to really go through a rebuilding mode. And after Chip Kelly traded a Philadelphia generational talent in LaShawn McCoy, a Philadelphia generational talent in Deshaun Jackson, and you didn't have a quarterback yet. And then 2 years later, Sills, you're in the Super Bowl, you're winning the Super Bowl. 5 years later, with a different coach, different quarterback, you're back in the Super Bowl. I mean, look, I don't think you could be the biggest. You could be the biggest Howie hater in the world and realize, by Eagle standards, by even NFL standards, that's pretty damn good.
You think it's the best? He's been the best general manager in franchise history.
I mean, I really started covering the Eagles with
Joe Banner.
Joe Banner, was running the numbers and all that stuff, but who was it? Not Tom Heckert.
Was it?
I can't remember. No, I can't remember who was with Andy. Andy came in with. I'm blanking on the guy's name. But yeah, in my time covering the Eagles, absolutely, he's been the best general manager in the NFL. I mean, Bill Polian gets a hell of a lot of credit for drafting Peyton Manning and doing a hell of a job there in Indianapolis,
and Buffalo.
And Buffalo. But I mean, I'm trying to think of anybody. I mean, Cincinnati has had their ups and downs and injuries with Joe Burrow, but they've put together one hell of a roster too.
Duke Tobin.
Yeah.
Probably Brett Veach, though.
Yeah. I'd have to really look at it with all the other GMs, but Howie, for me, in my lifetime, I don't think there's been a better Eagles general manager than Howie Roseman. And for his flaws, Jeffrey Lurie, the guy does want to win. I wish he wouldn't meddle as much as the next person, but you can't deny that this team, they're always in it.
He's never hired a coach with a losing record in Eagle history.
Yeah. And
every Eagle coach he's had, he didn't have Ray, right? He didn't have Ray. He had Andy.
No, he had Ray. He had Ray Rhodes. Because co-type.
Ray may be the only one.
Co-type. No, Ray. I think Ray Rhodes was 10-6, 10-6, 6-10, 6-10. I think that's what his record was.
Because I know they went to the 2000s had a winning record.
Okay. I know Ray Rhodes had that was the thing with the Chip Kelly. I thought it was going to give Chip Kelly one more year because
Chip
he always
had a winning
seemed to
record.
Chip had a winning record, but I thought he was going to give Chip one more year simply because he always seems to give like Andy Reid had a couple more extra years just because he'd have a bad year, then a really good year, and be like, okay, maybe this is it, and then a bad year, and then a really good year. But Ray Rhodes, I think, was a coach of the year. Andy Reid was a coach of the year. Laurie came in, I think, with Kotite, and that's when Kotite said, I think there were 7-1.
He had a winning record. Yeah,
under
Kotite
Jeffrey
had
Lurie?
a winning record. Yeah, I'm very sure.
Okay, because I remember
because the first 2 years they won 10, 11 games.
Was Jeffrey Lurie still the owner at that point?
No, it was Norman Brayman. That's
it was Norman Brayman.
I didn't know if he purchased a team. I thought Andy was his first head coach. I didn't know Ray was his guy.
I think he hired Ray. I think the way it went was.
By the way, he was a coach of the year, I think, twice. Ray.
Yes. He could have been. I know he was at least once.
Well, okay. Once.
I'm just going off the top of my head, but I remember with Kotite, I think Kotite was 7-0 or 7-1 or something, and then he started flapping his mouth about how he needs a contract extension, and then I think they lost every game after that, and that was it. Then next thing you know, he was up with the Jets. But,
all I remember is Jerome going, "I hate that guy." All I remember is those Eagle defensive guys hated that guy. Man, they couldn't. The defensive guys, because when Buddy got fired, Andre Waters wanted to fight him. From what I heard, Wes Hopkins, man, every time he said something to him, he'd put his head down and shit. Keith Byers used to say, you should see the defensive guys. They would never say anything. Every time Kotite was in the team meeting, they'd put their heads down.
There's one Eagles defensive player, and I want to know if you can guess it. One Eagles defensive player that to this day talks very highly of Rich Kotite. And he did not play for Rich Kotite while he was here in Philadelphia. Hugh Douglas.
Donovan McNabb.
No, Hugh Douglas.
Hugh Douglas?
Because Hugh was drafted by Rich Kotite with the Jets. So whenever we would talk, trash on Rich Kotite, Hugh would be laughing, and then he would go, I love that man. Because he drafted him. Like, forever loyalty, forever because of that. But and I get it.
Man, but yeah, I get it too, man. Hey, Farzy, tell folks where they can find you, my friend.
Catch me right here on JAKIB Media in the morning at 6 a.m. with the Farzy Show. Make sure you guys catch me on that 6 to 7 a.m. I've been having some technical difficulties, and you know that last time I was on with you. Had them ironed out. So we're back 6 to 7 every morning. JAKIB Media, Farzy Show YouTube channel as well.
Thank you so much, Farzy, for always finding time for me. I so appreciate it. Thank you, brother.
Back at you, my man. Take it easy.
You got it. Mark Farzetta. Make sure you check him out each and every single morning here on JAKIB Sports. He kicks off our morning broadcast going into Birds 365 and then us here in the afternoon. Guys, you did a great job today. We thank you so much. Please hit the like button. Joe, Zander, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we shall see you on the flip side.